Spiral.
There you go. Good, good. That's an ego user. It's good.
Here.
Nice.
It only works if you say the word here 3 times.
You hear what I
Here,
hear?
here.
And a little different one.
I noticed that you're not getting as much to the outside of my arm as what B was, to where, you know, you're still a little vulnerable when after the hand. So maybe rotate out here.
There you are. Now you're farther away.
Yeah.
So now you can shoulder lock.
I feel pretty okay in that position.
Didn't quite get
You
that.
can still use it.
So if you end up,
Hold up.
Because you're gonna possibly make mistakes in the past situation.
yeah, he's actually gonna get the coat now.
He just grabbed some chest hair there.
We know who has chest hair.
So if you end up in this web to web grip, right? Now use the length of the bones here.
Oh, shit, yeah.
And just, it's almost that position,
Oh,
right?
so-
Yeah, exactly. So if I'm here and I came up and went here, I'm just gonna roll this and that, and I'll end up in that.
And we have that movement in the.
Cheesy and Cheeto,
Yeah.
right? Just doing that motion.
Okay, so. I feel different.
Right, yeah, I felt like you probably could have taken me somewhere from there. I mean, you got me away from you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Here is, let's,
So I leave the thumb and take your left hand, let go and go right into there, right? And now you can pass it up,
You know what happened?
strike him in the neck.
You pull me up with you this here.
Yeah.
You grabbed the crook of my elbow like that.
Yeah, what I was thinking is, you ended up here, just go there. And
It's a little quick.
wow.
stay on. Right down,
Yeah.
right down to the ground. I thought this would be a good fun little like 1 hour class at one of the seminars, is just lapel grabs.
Yeah, especially if it's a situation where people have brought something to wear. It's summertime, the people are gonna have to grab t-shirts.
Now, like most of the seminars, people are wearing, most of the time they're wearing knee tops that you saw out there. Yeah.
I didn't feel anything on my thumb,
I know, well, you grab the other side. Now I'm gonna practice this,
Yeah.
this hand.
I think you're trying to make it more difficult with where you do the thumb thing, but. Looks like you're kind of moving your hand around in a way where he's just putting it right on there. Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. You kind of spiral that like you.
This way.
At least here, there's nothing I can do
Yeah,
with this hand
yeah.
here, you know.
You can wave it back.
This way. I don't know. Whatever.
So you got, when you end up in that position, right? Like right now, you went and ended up here, which is your superior grip. So if you're in this, if I grab this way, pull your hand out. Yeah, it's not a very good position. If I do this way, I've got a pretty good grip.
Yeah.
So if I decide I want to keep a grip and actually do a wrist lock, then I want to go with my superior grip. Okay? And then I can come in and do all sorts
And
of
just doing that,
stuff
you
from
pretty
that
much have a
position.
lever that controls my entire body.
Yeah.
When you did that, I was like.
Yeah, or I could choose to come right up and do the spider web arm bar, right? But I wanna stick, unless, I mean, you could, if you got absolutely no grip, right? You're just not feeling it, you can switch and completely lose the grip. But if you do have one of the two hands as a good grip, then retain it and do whatever you gotta do.
You Tony always talk about if we screw up, keep following through, you don't have to always feel like you have to learn this technique. The way it's
Yes.
written, but the fact that you can go somewhere with your mistake. Oh, wait, was I doing it this side this time?
Grab both and let it fit.
Yeah, there you go. Sad. This,
So right now, your hand position, your left was probably the strongest.
Yeah.
We're gonna change it. So if you ended up kind of like this, right? So you could control his elbow and go into a flexion wrist lock.
You sound like a backwards drum track.
Red drum, red drum, red drum.
Yeah, I don't think I have any, I don't feel like there's a lock on my thumb at all.
So you could go here. Your finger. Go over the top.
oh,
I think what I see you doing is that you're kind of pushing a little bit with this, but then you're kind of letting it go. It's like, whenever you're kind of going like this and then you let go. Whereas I think you need to continue to keep that pressure
yeah,
on,
yeah.
keep that pressure on my thumb.
Is that better?
Not really.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know what, you're doing something different with your hand on the thumb than what he is, and I don't. Can't see it from this angle, let's see again. That was better, yeah, that was better.
You can over the top.
Deep and then all the way to your elbow and up. Now go that direction.
Oh, okay, okay.
Not gonna do the rodeo.
Don't worry.
Okay. So, here, here.
Oh, nice.
Here.
So you're pushing across first, push straight the direction it goes,
So,
and then spiral it to
do I have to get kind of a turn in it too? Because right now, otherwise I'd have to be like that.
Here, watch it. Okay. So I go here, the alignment is straight, that thumb is straight with his arm. So I go here. Now I release it.
Oh, and you bend it.
So I am that kind of position, look familiar.
Yeah.
He grabs, I go here, I've released it. Now I spiral. See, look at my heel. Oh, I'm here. Yeah. Now I can do the full wrap, I can go here, I can go here. There's several options available.
Yeah, I
To
can
be
see
at that
the
point.
mechanics of what I was doing was that I was ending up with this, where my hand was against his end of his thumb. As opposed to somehow like this, so you're like,
Okay, yeah, so yeah, you went in to pop side.
uh, here, here. I'll push this
It's great.
this way.
Except we didn't do it. I didn't rotate, we didn't do a rotate.
Okay. Here,
I think it, the body.
and don't want to rotate it right now,
There you go.
here.
That's better, yes.
Okay, there.
Keeping it.
So when is it that you make your first foot movement? Right here?
Right when he grabs,
You're already
the
there.
hand and foot are together. I'm going here,
Oh, and then you do a
I'm
rotation
going
back.
here,
Okay.
push straight, and then as I curve,
Oh, it's a fancy.
exercise 2,
Mhm.
one side, over the spider web. It's that same footwork from exercise 2 and spider web. Well, we know
Oh,
what
you
they're
lost it, you lost it when you got here.
I lost it when we got
Yeah,
there.
you had a good start, but.
Okay. Here, here.
Your heel didn't move at all. Here.
Okay,
Liz.
that was good. Okay, so far so good. Okay.
I
You
lost.
came in and then you lost, it just kind of,
Yeah,
You lost
I
the-
closed
you
it.
lost the pressure. Somehow.
Yeah.
Do that a little slower, you might have. Ideas. So we did that fine, and then when you started rotating, make sure that. Maybe. Like he did with me, grabbing. Okay, yeah, you're continuing the pressure, it was good.
But,
That, that was good, it was good. Yeah,
okay.
because you lost the pressure before, and it just kind of
Okay.
popped off.
Okay. Here. I'm always amazed that on Facebook now, Facebook knows I like karate or martial arts. And seeing these people who just continue to stand right here and as if they're not going to punch with the other hand. And they do something here and they don't, I just want to type, get to the outside of the yard.
Yeah, I got the same thing with Facebook, I'm doing all kinds of stuff from different.
You want to switch and
Yeah.
do this, or you want to switch techniques?
Yeah, so. First thing. Good. Second thing.
You bet.
Maintain,
That was the best one you've done.
maintain with one hand, let's see,
Go.
that hurts. Then this one. It's that's the time for me to do the weekend. Figure it out.
See, you're trying to actually, you're kind of fingering it and stuff instead of just going straight here and pushing it. You're trying to
Yeah.
manipulate it in a way which is probably not gonna happen in real life.
Well, the thing is, this is kind of thick, and it's hard trying to get.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah. It's kind of bouncing off.
So don't wear this jacket if you think you're gonna go back.
You know what, I'm getting hot.
I always just open the door, that would cool it off pretty quick.
Yeah, we don't wanna up your
Just
gas.
grab the shirt. I'll just do this before you grab, so you don't grab any here.
Okay.
Go get a razor real quick.
There you go. Okay, so
So see a razor.
here, here. And I do it from the other side. Here was. I think I grabbed this.
Think about where the missing cable leg is at that point. And then drive this elbow to it.
Yeah.
And it was a table leg.
That's two of them.
So you did a little bit more rapidly. You went here and released, right? And you pulled mainly at his wrist, right? So you're trying to pull to that missing table leg. From here, if I use this and kind of rev,
Yeah,
now his elbow goes
More
towards
of
that
a
missing
head whip.
table leg.
I get more of a head whip action too.
All right, and once you do that, go back to your originally here, and I'll lay off the phone just to be nice. But if I drive that, see how his balance is there, and then you've got
Oh,
this.
yeah.
You got this, you could come up and do this, and then go in and do various arm bars.
So you're actually not just pulling, but you're using this as a lever.
So anytime you end up in the palm up flexion technique, right? We've got numerous techniques from here. The big key to this arm is this elbow.
You can't videotape.
I set it on record for Pete because he's not going to be able to log in. He just texted me, so I can record it. But
Okay.
at any rate, so right now he can reach up and touch me with that hand, right? So anytime I'm in this position, if I move this elbow forward, see where his he can't hit me anymore. So you'll see a lot of people that do techniques like this, but
Move, man.
yeah, especially like Tony won't let you get away with that. He'll bitch slap you. But if I take his elbow here and then go down, that is inconsequential, right?
More of the same, something different. Good. I hear that off the pressure there.
Yeah.
Well, you got me in a funny little position with my pinkies back here, which really sucks for me.
Yeah.
So right now, you do have his elbow is in, he can't reach your face
I
real
can do
good.
this, but that's about it.
Yeah,
Well, I could do this.
so if you, yeah,
Oh,
if you
that's what it was.
if you kind of just drift, yeah, all you have to do
Yeah,
is drift a little.
because this time you use the torque of my arm.
Yeah, and I didn't hurt my back as much. Trying to.
Trying to start the long.
Grabbing on him.
This way.
All right, again, see if you can get more of it. Yeah, worked really well. That push on my thumb
Yeah.
really drove me back. It hurt like. Okay.
Right away.
Here. Drive. Okay. Speed that up.
Hi.
No,
I'm tired.
I met you.
I am Lisa Owens.
Oh, you-
Good Vargas.
Never met.
What's your first name again? Vargas? Rick Vargas, Rick Vargas. Okay, I am listening to you.
I'm originally from Virginia. I trained under John Risco.
Okay,
From,
okay.
and we got here, it'll be 2 years in February.
Are you selling those people?
Sweet.
Not the big one, the small
Good
one,
for you.
I was gonna sell, it's lost all its sound.
I know.
So it needs
I know.
a new battery, internal battery, like a 2032 or something, and then the sound's reloaded, but yeah, that one I'm planning on selling. But I haven't got around to loading.
Zoom recognizes what
You could use it as a controller.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I've already got a controller.
Yeah.
We're all expert with the Kumbo
But I don't have a keyboard.
Yeah, there it
I don't have a
is.
keyboard that's
Gotta work on
that
it.
long, the long one there.
Oh,
Teaching
I've got one that's in between those two.
so that is hammer action,
He's
and I
been
bought it
Spada.
probably $250.
Back into
The little one?
teaching, I just
The big one.
The
retired.
big one.
The big one, yeah,
In
it's just
September.
It's a shame.
And,
So it's not meant to be a synthesizer
doing
per se.
insurance litigation.
It's more meant for like
for
pianos.
almost 39 years.
But it
So,
does have some built-in sounds that are kind of
the
cheap.
last few years of doing it, specifically the last 4 or 5 years, it's
So
been
you
so
can
bad
use
that I
it
haven't really
to-
been doing anything because
To
it's hard.
trigger any other key.
Sure, yeah.
So I finally retired
I originally bought that,
and now
Guitar
I'm
Center probably a
trying to
decade
get back
ago.
into
Brand new for $250.
shaking off the cobwebs and training. And, and then now he wants me
As
to
far
teach,
as-
so.
Controllers.
Here we are.
That's
Something like
kind of
that.
that
I mean,
situation.
it feels like you're looking at.
Yeah, you know, currently, I mean, I took
Um,
piano lessons for many years as a kid, so I was used to that full length. So
That's what it
the
sounds.
one I've got now, sometimes I have to change the octave.
I'm sure later.
Yeah, and see, that's
Someone-
That's why I originally
But I
bought
don't play anything
Oh,
really live.
At one point, I had like
Hard
3 or 4,
Yeah.
66 or 76
Yeah, I know John.
keyboards.
Yeah, I don't
But,
either.
you know,
Him
wasn't
and Lou were
brain,
best
so I bought
buddies.
that.
Yeah.
They were
Free.
pretty
Both of
much
them.
fun.
Yeah.
He's gone too.
Yeah, I know Lou's gone.
But anyway, Lou did a seminar down in Richmond.
Yeah.
And John probably, so I picked it up originally from him.
Yeah.
And then Chiro, kind of refined it a bit.
Or something like that.
That worked, I probably sneaked, maybe a little bit
I
deeper.
gotta go back to the,
Right.
to the videos and relearn the thing.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at videos of myself, in fact,
Figure it
to,
out.
make sure I don't make any mistakes. But I've been dealing with I had a nerve problem too, which, hasn't been present, it's been bothering me since
How do I
really
get
first of
that,
October. And,
cable light thing we were doing, were you
so,
from this position?
yesterday,
Do
I
I
was
need to?
doing some
So
stretching.
you have me
Yeah.
prone instead of
I did
supine.
this
Oh,
one
I
particular
know.
stretch.
So the elbow with the
Big
table
top.
leg was if I was
That's-
supine all month.
Okay.
So here,
You know,
I would almost
got-
just
got,
switch
this
underneath
is
it
very painful.
That,
and then
So it's kind of.
go right into an arm.
But
Just
I
because of the way you had my
instantly
feet.
got relief last night that it happened, but this morning it's still feel, you know, it's still.
Except my thumb
So,
pulled it a completely
having
different
one
way.
probably do this.
Yeah,
I probably could let go,
I'll
actually,
see.
I'm
Thinking,
lose the thumb
and I
So,
text message my
here.
so for
it's
my
on
first
therapist, and
release,
she's not,
Yeah,
doesn't be back
here.
because I haven't gone to
High five.
the garage for quite a long time, and I know that will probably never see it, so.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get that all squared away before I do this one. Anywho,
So,
that's my story.
That one I felt like your arm was
That's my
close enough.
story. So, yeah, I,
because it was a loose shirt,
started training with
actually-
Tuite.
you kind of went
I
this
did
way,
that.
right? You know, once I get you prone
After I
that
became a
way,
black belt,
pinky
my.
is slightly up,
has been
I could
so
just go
Yeah, yeah.
straight.
Vince
straight down.
is from the east.
But the key-
Coast.
the big key with telegraphs is they typically end up, they
And
start
John,
with
and
a
he
supine
was
grip.
from Jersey.
Right, and
And he
that's
moved
pretty
to
strong,
Kansas City, he trained
typically
Tuite
that
specifically,
elbow
moved here.
is good and in a
So he
down
opened up
strong
Dojo
position.
Summit, and that's why. I first
My
started
instinct
training
also
there.
is to do something like that.
So now I'm 60.
So you
He was
did two
32 when I
things,
started training
you made
there.
me force
And I got my
efficient.
black belt course.
You made me force
So
efficient two
headquarters
ways.
training.
One, you took my elbow across my body,
40 years after that.
and
probably
you switched this
2002, I
from
think, as he
positive
started.
90 to negative.
Um,
So I'm
with this
force
one,
efficient
so-
in two separate ways when you do that.
Okay.
slow integration, not really
To me, it
fast
seems faster
because,
than what we do.
you know, his mindset is,
That's-
you know.
That's difficult for my
wants to
small
test you
brain.
to see if you're dedicated.
The
Thank God he
action.
believed I was dedicated because then it was pretty much almost a 6-year span of me training on specific. So if I go to headquarters or I go to his
So
house
you're still ending up,
and train in his.
so that's the
So
deal, is because both palms are up.
what I'm teaching,
It makes
in seminars
more
right now, or
Oh.
have in the past and will in February, is what's called the cheesy
I've
bridge.
got two elbows down, like I'm coming
And
in
then,
to
so you've
throw
got
you or
key
something.
home, they have cheesy bridge,
I'm trying to work with
Which
what would be
is
my
kind of,
natural instinct,
a,
first to do something like that.
a line melt between the key home And the cheeky combat weapon that he taught me, now that's what I
So,
learned for 6
grab
years.
double.
53 motions.
When they grab double and go
I thought
palm up.
that'd be very long.
We
A
just
while.
need
But
one of
I'm
these
teaching cheesy bridge that kind
to
of
go palm down.
people to the
Alright,
next
so
level
what I
when I'm
did
ready to teach that next level.
Is I came in
So-
and created a hinge.
And quite honestly, I
And
haven't worked
then
on a combat cutter. for a
I'm
long
sawing
time, So
to
I'm
get
just
it over
working,
the
trying to concentrate on
So
bridge
I'm
right now.
literally
and-
creating a hinge
Then we
and
see how it
sawing,
goes.
I'm
next year,
sliding to make that
seminars and
rotation happen.
People that come and train,
one
and
comes
if I see
underneath,
people with
One's over the
some
top.
consistency or whatever, then I
So
might pull
your
out. some
right is what's gotta
product.
slide.
So just, I'm
It's
just
gotta
gonna play it by ear.
It's
and
got,
maybe
it's, yeah, it's like, it's the same as that J hook
Pass
principle.
it on, and I don't want to die and not have.
There, there it is,
But,
yes.
yeah, I'm relatively still healthy,
Cool.
so I think I've got time. You know, not on the live, wherever there is, wood. So, anyway, that's my story, and so obviously I've trained
Yes, you're
for a
sticking to
long
it.
time. And one of our best friends, Margaret Fankhauser, who passed away, which is.
You ended up,
So
I don't,
fucking
did you see
sad.
the pinky video
You
yesterday?
know, he was.
No, I did not. I didn't
Oh.
know what it was this week.
And,
Yeah, so I actually showed a video, anytime you lose that pinky,
really, just caught up.
just regain it, regain it with that
Didn't
pinky.
make it,
Oh.
he passed on. It came back.
Oh, I.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah, so
What
like,
he had,
if I
is
ended up here,
what Lee had
Right,
was
you
the
feel how-
sliding combo, which is what I
It's-
have with the Chiefs.
it's nowhere near
Each
as
one of
high
them
as
is
it normally
Scotty
is. The
specific.
second.
I can feel.
Yeah.
Down.
Yeah.
And
It's just such a simple-
that he's never talked about.
Require that pinky.
Yeah.
So, I think that maybe Lee might
Too
have
fast?
Marvin on video.
Am I doing that too fast?
Do you have Marvin on video when he did the side cotter that type of caught him? Do you have?
Monday side?
Well, just.
And then they're coming over.
Yeah. Okay, making a little bit more room, so. That's.
Yeah. You go, like reach with your elbow and then come down.
If I did that, then you just keep raising your elbow.
No, once you're across. I just say that because it'll suck worse. Yeah, see how that time. Rick, you wanna continue working on those roads?
Let's do that.
So, he and I were working on the double grab, so I ever done that one before,
No, you're fine.
if I remember correctly.
I mean,
I
yeah,
don't think so,
agree.
something like that,
Yeah.
yeah.
What happened to that happen?
Okay,
You blocked
honestly,
that.
just, yeah.
Did you change the angle of attack? I would just have to change my stance.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And I've already, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try.
Yeah. Hey, Lee, can
Is
you
this
show me
like
that
right?
double lapel grab again?
Yes,
With-
give me just a second.
You did like a. Okay, so that one. Oh, J hook arc. Yeah. Double.
Cool.
And then wait, the only thing is, this is your angle, so move this to that angle. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Yeah. And so, yeah, you're still not quite at the angle, here's the angle. Yes, oh, yes.
My turn.
Yeah, but I think yeah, we're showing something real quick. I know I can't with a J hook.
Your angle's off.
A saw
Yeah,
motion.
I saw it, yeah.
Like that.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Here it is.
Oh, okay, thank
You
you.
had it curled out like this.
So
And needs to be like this.
when they are here and they grab in, rotate it. I've gotta create a hinge
Yeah.
and then
And
rotate
change angle.
that one that I. So one's going under, one is pledge of allegiance. Right, hands at the heart. The other is going over the top. The one that goes over the top creates
So,
a
do the
hinge.
question mark.
And then I slice.
Oh, with this on, this was causing you sign.
Right, so everything's gonna be on the side that's under. Everything, all the action is gonna occur on the side that goes.
Pop it.
I'm here, I create a hinge, and I'm here, and I saw. Now I lift and come
That's fine.
over the top,
Get this now.
and it's that motion.
Which is interesting because.
Actually, I can't do it this way, can I?
Yes, here, now, right about here, I noticed that because I've got this guy, this also plays a part in the technique.
It does, it does, it controls your pinky.
Yeah.
Yes, very much
Pretty
so.
cool.
Tell me what you mean.
That comes up in here.
Okay, so.
Well, you
You can see it, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I don't know if it's gonna work.
That it won't work with a teeth. So watch, watch how his fingers are wrapped in here, and I'm going here. So as I create this hinge and go this way, his pinky is.
Do that
wrapped
way, it's
in
easier.
There it is, it just
And
rolls
it's-
in here.
It's captured.
That's his extra hand.
This is support, my D is support.
Mhm.
Right,
Bring that up.
going right over that top.
Oh, wait, I know.
I noticed that right off. Oh. that's-
Yeah, it's, there's no relaxing your hand to relieve the pressure, like a lot of the Tuite. Bad guys.
So you mean that the shirt has also done a trapping motion?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
okay.
the shirt is basically
Okay.
tying this up.
Yeah, okay. I thought you meant that this was now presented as a, something.
And then you use
Mess with it, so-
your ankle attack.
That
Side of your arm.
Okay, then this.
It's here, the support hand is this one here, and.
And then we do a kind of sawing motion.
This is the action where it's gonna happen here. I saw.
Straight up.
Oh.
Yeah.
For example.
That, why?
It
did get a reaction.
Right there.
Okay.
That's on the side. Where's that at?
Yeah.
Hands
So-
tight. If you tap out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Touch the belly.
But rotate. Rotate back.
Go back straight on.
Oh,
Okay.
this.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, I let it slip. I don't wanna.
Because you want to be nice.
That would be nice, because if I held your hand there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna cry. We can't be friends anymore.
We still do family.
The action's gonna happen on this side now.
Honestly.
The elbow.
Yeah, the elbow is where you're losing it.
So what I do honestly is just push. Once you have it wrapped up, just push down.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like that.
So I was thinking of the wrong place, because I thought I had to like
No, because
get them off me, yeah.
In this case, you.
You're not doing it. You're
I
not.
first didn't think when you did that,
Doing
would
this
push you away.
Yeah, so what you can do is just put
Like
it.
elbow.
I mean, you can just write it down. You need to. Rotate the body.
So. Grab. So
Right.
you are creating a hinge. Let your left leg come back. Now get you closer.
Oh, no.
So see how I'm down by the L, or by the,
I'm answering
by
the
the
door.
wrist, right?
Yeah.
If-
but that's
if
what
you
I
keep
thought
your
you
stance,
just continue.
then you end up here
Forearms
on the
are
forearm. So you're actually fighting a long bone instead of fighting the notch. If I go back, now I'm in that notch.
You just got me here, so I got you like this.
Mhm.
Well, I don't think I moved, you can't, or I mean, one of the options is to take you. Outside.
You know, if Pete doesn't get everything in the camera, it's all.
So like this. You just turn my hand.
Sure, yeah. if I just-
Turn it.
Yeah, that's. And
Oh,
I push up like this.
Well, if you do that, I'm.
Yeah, check, see that, there, you should, you first you start.
Right, I thought it-
He goes straight there, cleats there, and there's.
We're not gonna.
But do it real
Slam
slow, and I
that
see if I
there.
can.
Yeah.
Stay away. Gosh, stay away. Look, right, see, here,
Yeah.
this should be here. You're coming right up all the way up on my elbow here.
Kind of. Need to jump.
There, that's good, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you were kind of way up here.
You want, I say, use it as close as possible.
And once you're here,
Oh, wait, I remember.
if his arm is straight, just kind of, as this is coming up, if he's straightening, take a horse stance
You
in.
need to break it
And
down.
then, yeah,
Break it
yeah.
down.
So if his arm is straight, it's a little bit harder to get a good
Right.
joint on.
Yeah.
So just that, stepping across into a horse
What I
stance
would actually recommend
and
you
then
do, is you step.
zig and zagging back.
Well, yeah.
Zig and zagging.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, my turn.
This, yeah, he has.
Yes.
Wow.
Comes
good.
up. Probably.
Really?
Gets away. Gets
A
away.
little too fast.
I can get you to move, but I can't get you to do, you know?
My wrist is tight.
Notice.
No, it's my left.
And you're at the end.
Yeah, well, I'm getting there.
Okay, well,
Slide.
I turn, I go here, and then my left foot, I'm picking up the wrong leg then.
So
Yeah. You okay?
It's not moving.
Yeah, let's try.
basic, you
Just
retreat
trying to
Yeah.
with your left
I
leg
have my right leg up. Yeah.
visualize
Left
motions
leg,
as you
and
do.
then
I'm fighting.
Yeah,
there's that hold.
yeah, that's
Oh,
what
I
I'm
probably
supposed
should
to
have
do.
looked at
Yeah. I'm picking up the wrong leg.
Just go.
Good.
Oh, Lordy.
So. No, I can go. No, I'm gonna go this side. He said.
Maybe go here and then
Well, he was,
here.
what his option was, if my arm comes too straight.
Elbow goes up.
I go to
Well,
the corner,
bend again.
so it's why I switch my
Yeah.
feet. I
And when you
didn't
come
know
back,
that.
you
I may or may not.
You're more straight, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely interesting.
No, I don't. And then I kick up the left
How you
leg.
doing?
I go the other side.
Or the right leg.
Right.
Pretty much.
Kick up the right leg. Go to the side.
This side.
Okay, I should react to that. You know what I should react? Wait now,
Yeah. Catch up.
because that would.
Yeah, I haven't
work
been
that
doing
more.
this as much. It's my
That's why I was trying to do like.
guy.
I do a lot more with the standard part stuff. Pushing around, check it out.
No,
I heard something.
I think I needed it to pop.
Yeah, it's over.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing feeling.
Yeah.
There you go. I do that. And then I go back.
No,
to
bitch.
this.
You know what you did to fix it?
Think so.
And then the key of it is this.
Around.
Finger here.
Let's see if I can do
I didn't move it.
that.
No, what's funny about this?
There's another thing in that sawing.
You mess it up.
Oh,
Right,
right.
That's the thing about high five, yeah.
Sawing machine helped my arm.
Because you end up in the exact same position as the other person,
Yes.
so if they know what they're doing, just like, okay, fine.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so.
You know the technique more.
Well, it's the same whenever you end up with like, what is it like?
Try to see if you can see what the sawing motion is doing. in my
Yeah.
hand.
Pause that,
And
right?
it's like, you need to be fast.
There's also one where you hit your hand over between the technique. and they
You like
can
to get the
grab it.
sawing motion, kind of, you're
Dude,
lost
technique on your back.
contact, they will do my
Yeah.
wrist before you really try it real quick and this.
Ditch that because it's subject.
Right.
So the biggest thing on high five is the second, like,
Oh,
So
we're
it can-
equal.
Yeah.
oh,
To rotate.
Not
okay,
equal because
okay.
I have my thumb in here.
Okay.
The second he starts reaching,
Use my elbow.
yeah, because you can't
needs to be done.
Very few people can do this one, right? Because of that elbow.
Right.
Yeah, because all he's gonna do is that to get out of it. And it's,
I was just, I was just
right?
pulling
If you
instead
feel
of
pressure,
doing the
your
side.
elbow naturally wants to go up. So if I've got this, I can win. If he starts reaching for it, I need to get, I need to push that elbow and see how I'm making it, this arm stay at a right angle.
This
So
one's gonna do the
if
same.
I can keep that, then that arm can't reach it. So that's the big deal.
And that's how you keep it away from the.
Yes, keep them from being able to reverse, high five is first person to the elbow wins. Right,
Well,
first person to the elbow.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So we're rotating this wrist,
And they have to read before.
but that's on the.
So this here would be doing sparring.
Right, yeah, to rotate the wrist.
Right.
Make you pop.
Okay, what you're doing is you're supporting his hand. So grab real quick. And just gonna lose this, just so it's easier to see. You're going all the way over,
Straight around.
which is off balancing you. And you're supporting the back of his hand.
Shoving me down.
So relax.
Here.
Straight line,
No.
make a fist, straight line, strong,
Ooh.
Curve.
What happens if I miss?
weak. All right, so by going all the way over,
This.
you're supporting that straight line, you're supporting the strength. When I go here,
I was trying to get underneath you,
I'm creating,
Oh, try to
pivot.
push it back. I didn't have a lock here.
I'm creating the hinge, and see, now I've got the curve in this knuckles,
I love this.
right? If I go here, just feel that, kind of tighten up just a little bit, feel that.
And so the reaction.
Feel
to that
that.
would be more like.
Oh, that's still strong, man.
Yeah, you're stronger. If I screw up and do that, I can squeeze.
Oh, there.
Relax. And
My arm.
he immediately is like, oh crap.
And then we're
Right.
ready to go.
But
Well.
if I pull it, same with push catch, right? If I go all
Yeah.
the way here, I'm pushing and I push here, I am bracing that straight line and
And the thing
making
you
it
went
stronger.
into was.
If I stay on just his thumb side,
Yeah, let's see, oh shit, I got a lot of play there.
you can feel the knuckles start to curve this way, my pinky starts to go behind the ring finger.
Yeah, but you're pulling me down into the ground.
Yes. We'll try that. Cause I'm reaching across. Woo. You're grabbing my hand again, but totally not go. I just wanted you to have it right here. so I don't know.
Probably under the-
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
As opposed to.
You don't have-
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you're an addict.
Yeah, I gotta have my one.
I'm trying to reach for your shoulder.
Okay, well, yeah.
Yeah.
I just limit you to one.
Yeah.
Well, down.
Just
A little.
Uh-huh.
Here.
One. And then I'll bring.
When did you
There you
change
go.
that?
And then I started drinking, I'm like, if I want another hot drink, I do green tea.
Yeah.
That's it, and then it's water.
So that's,
But don't curl your hand.
Only thing I really drink is tea.
oh,
That has caffeine, and I try not to after.
This.
right,
As opposed to.
right, right.
So then-
I'm trying to remember, sometimes I forget, I go out to late.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm backwards.
Something like that, but okay.
Focus on trying to get it
At this point,
like
like
this.
this.
Because he wants to, everybody's doing this, he's like rolling his hands and trying to get some catch, as opposed to starting to pop.
I'm up and wired
That
again.
makes sense?
And then usually after another
He does that a
hour,
lot
so
with
I
this stuff,
get back to
rolls,
sleep.
Right.
You're always sleeping in just these short little.
Yeah, Barbara's been getting up every morning at 3:30, we just pissed her off. Damn it, now I gotta get up. So I
It's
go
awesome.
back to sleep.
No.
She gets up for like an hour, 2
Yes.
hours, and then she usually comes back to bed about 5 or so.
Yeah.
And she's like, I was leaving.
The concept.
Yeah. I know what it is. Gotcha.
I was like, okay. So anyway, yeah.
Let me grab
Yeah.
that.
Better so now. Sciatic nerve is really trying to do that.
Then I'm just gonna have to go.
So last time I was doing.
Well, no, I was gonna go.
Stretch. Every time I see it stretch, I think it'll help me, I'm doing it, so. last night I saw the stretch
Oh,
where
sorry, this is
you're like this, and then you bring this over and you kind of drop your hip.
Right there, yeah, good.
That's similar. I've been doing one.
all the action is happening on this
I
side,
take the knee
where I also worry about this kind of stuff here.
And it's kind of rock back.
Right.
But I don't do that.
Okay, okay.
They have
There you go.
I too, last night, and I hadn't tried it, but anyway, I did that last night. Cause we had to go to the store and stuff, and it hurt me terribly. Pain out down my leg.
Yeah.
That's not.
So I got home and I did that stretch,
It's a weird concept.
and when I put that left leg over there and I dropped down,
Break down.
I immediately felt
So,
relief.
this is my side.
And so I was super excited, right?
So,
You
maybe
know how you
one of the
get.
answers is,
Super excited, and then I get up this morning and I still have a little bit of pinching,
You do that. You might have to do it.
but it's not as bad as what it was
or
yesterday.
maybe the answer is.
So,
Oh, crap,
yesterday
that's
was
close.
horrible. I mean, I was
Yeah,
like.
it's not a great graph.
Cause I had to lean over.
I've been there.
I had to lean over, cause it was hurting so bad.
That only works for you.
You know what I'm
because you're
saying?
still kind of been there. If you have someone like Lee who just like grab his shoulder really well, that's not gonna work.
We're doing weird graph.
Do that weird grab again, so.
Both of us.
Surprise.
So from here,
You need a little break in the wrist?
And I can't-
you could, it's something he can't hold on to at all.
No,
Right,
This is
so-
me trying to like push past you.
So. Here, and after you're right into an arm bar,
I was thinking, you take that arm and you go over.
you're thinking Shio.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so you can do Shio as well. You can come up this
Yeah,
way
that's what I was
and
thinking.
go into an arm
Yeah.
bar. But it's, if this hand's already on
Yeah.
the inside,
Yeah.
then
That's
right
wasted
there.
motion, yeah, it's easy, yeah,
it's straight into an
Yeah.
arm bar.
yeah.
So I was wrong about the gravity. Okay. That's all.
Those are the two simplest ones in my opinion, if somebody.
Well, there's never
Does
any
that.
kind of wrong answer, really.
No, it's
When you're-
exploring.
Yeah.
If you're not getting hit, you're doing it right.
Yeah, either way, it doesn't matter, right? Just kick their feet, just.
Look at some of the other
Well,
ones.
yeah, I didn't thought about those just because.
That's
man,
not
I don't
one of
understand.
them.
When I get that,
Fine,
I'm
but
stopping
keep them
and
on.
it's like, nope, fine, son.
Well, especially because, you know, like
Silence
me,
is
my
kind of that
commands
strike,
were tight all the time, and you kick me there, I'd be hollering for
This is a
days.
signal of that.
I'm not getting that for a while.
Did you see the kick video I posted this past week?
No, I haven't.
I didn't see the kick video. I've been trying to keep more up to date on you though, so I have. seen
There's-
a lot of YouTube stuff.
There's this trend now, and there's actual competitions, and they've got these red and blue like triangle people stand in. And you're both standing in this stance, you have to give the person your leg, and it's a coin toss who goes first. But the competition is, you're doing a roundhouse to the
It's
thigh,
that opening
right?
motion
And
on
then you do it,
the side.
and they do it,
This
and you
here.
keep going back and
Each other
forth
until somebody-
until somebody taps out or
Yeah, wrist-
steps out.
yeah.
The rounds and you're like, I'm
Right,
out.
and it's the same kind of mentality if you've seen the slap competitions lately.
Yeah.
Or, kicking the man in the nuts 50 times, like they did.
But there's these sanctioned deals at tournaments now where they're doing these things. And so I filmed, basically all you gotta do is at the point you feel it, you pull your knee back towards you, you lift, Shino lift. And they just collapse because all the weight comes, they're banking on this strike that's going through both tabletops, right? But the second you hit
This
and
way.
lift, they just go
Yeah,
back.
it's a curl,
It's a curl.
And I did it to Steve in the video. Steve had no idea what I did.
Except.
I do remember
Yeah,
it hit one close. Like
Yeah,
a circle.
yeah. So, and it doesn't hurt anymore, but they can't support themselves because suddenly they're.
This
So
actually-
would they
this
then
was-
lose the competition?
Yeah,
Should
because
have
that's not
been
a triangle.
But you have, the best way to
They
do
can't.
it, okay, in my opinion.
On their terms, I gotta go.
Well,
Nah,
by the
my
rules, they can't. be in a triangle.
Yeah, I have to say in that triangle.
Okay.
We're doing the Versailles version now.
So you fall out, you're done.
That's all.
We're
Any
doing,
questions or?
we're doing, but yeah, we like, we already looked at what you have here, we wanted to see if you could give the
Well, I'm hearing
thermal.
Is
Versailles,
it straight that one?
yes.
Which is funny, because
I
I
talked
just,
about Versailles, yeah.
because I just
Yeah.
uploaded that video last week.
So grab.
Your,
I mean, that works.
no, you.
That's always.
Because that won't work because, you wanna know why? Because
I did better with the other one.
So think about what's going on here. I'll hit hard.
That's
Just
always
grab.
the first thought when someone doesn't.
I actually have a little bit.
Yeah.
So ideally, impact
That works, but okay, let's
is
not do.
supposed to flex the wrist. So if I go straight here, it's just,
Instead of doing the straight.
right, and if they don't feel pain, nothing happens. But if I,
Okay.
It might
well,
hit.
next option was be-
and then let the pinky
Which
touch.
is another situation of knocking something into something else, it's waiting.
Yes, yes.
Well, no, I meant.
We were talking about. the
So let the back of your hand touch. Now,
But you're not up against the
scoop.
wall.
So now you have flexion.
So what are you gonna do?
I don't
Step
think
back.
that stops me.
Oh.
Well, we're typically putting this in short.
They are, but you're not up against them.
Think of it, yeah, like a hinge. There you are.
Well, this is.
And typically in this one, I really like to think about the curl.
We were just talking about
Yeah,
that.
the more asshole
But
version.
you can step back, but you can step back.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is, if I want to take you to that wall, right where Lee's standing, and I start charging like this. You can do this.
Yes.
Do that.
But your way, the first one you
Yeah.
did was good, it was already up against the wall, and I can't move back, just push them off.
Yeah, my first thing is poking in the middle of the neck, like.
So the only problem with that is,
Just touched it.
Small arms.
Yeah, I'm trying to not be a leader.
so like,
I want to make it work.
and I'm not gonna do it, but like. That jugular notch is a really good technique,
Doing something different.
but I physically can't do it on Tony because
This
he
one-
locks
these
his
two are
arms out
fighting
and
against
I
each
can't get any penetration,
To grab,
right? So then
Okay.
you gotta switch to something else.
Okay.
that's fighting.
I like-
That's kind of what you did.
I'm doing what he was saying not to do.
Yeah,
Oh,
so.
The upper block.
Okay.
You haven't seen it?
No.
So, push, so this is
There, yeah,
strong in
it
that long
didn't even take
position.
much.
If I
do
come here and keep in mind, you know.
It did the hinge
distraction
thing.
there. All I gotta do is touch, but I'm putting this bone in that crease, and I do an upper block, and he can't keep it.
Is that a
No distraction.
Well,
base.
that,
yeah.
they could both be distracted,
Well, yeah, so he's touching here.
but what I'm really doing is, I wanna be in this crease, cause I don't wanna do this, because that just.
It's
makes
okay,
it
let go.
work. So I'm going in that crease,
And then there's.
in my lever, and yeah, and now there's my fulcrum. I do an upper block.
And that releases
But-
pressure.
If my thumb touches your thumb, your 5 feet both
I'm
thumbs,
just checking to see if he does
If-
any,
our thumbs
getting
are
to
touching
the
now,
outside,
but
because
hinge.
we
and
are
so it
both,
comes right up
still vulnerable
into
to
that
the other
position.
hand punching.
When they have a look of shock on their face, because they did not expect that.
And then it's,
So hit it all the way.
That's good, you had that time on that.
Yeah.
So do you have, all right, so I have noticed in the picture here, but do you work from the outside in order to avoid the punch from your hand on this technique?
well,
You do it here, but I mean, this guy here is.
yeah, eventually, I mean,
Think of the.
he grabs, I wanna
Yeah,
go
there you
here,
go.
right? I wanna go here, and I'm
Right.
doing this motion. If that hand's coming, I'm probably gonna do this first, and then do that motion, right? So that hand, I see it coming, I'm gonna cover, and then I'll use that ellipse that I just did
To come back.
to come right into there. And then I'm right into it.
So.
So like in that book,
Right.
one of the criticisms I would get from people is stuff like that. Well, he can hit you with the other hand.
Right.
This is,
I assume
the
that-
title of the book is 6 Basic Principles. You're learning the basics.
You can base it.
Then you start adding in those other things.
Right.
Every single technique in that book, you should be able to catch, parry, bam, and be into it.
Or remember to step outside of your arm.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you,
I mean,
you grab,
And it depends on how they're like.
First of all,
how
you
they
have to
react
get
to
your
it.
hand
Yeah,
Left-
do that.
Left hand creates your
I still
hinge
have this one.
there.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, right into it. See how it flows perfectly into it.
Yep.
Yeah. And if
Feels like
if
on
that
the back,
hand
right?
doesn't come because maybe he's reaching, then
That's fine.
Yeah.
right to the neck, then slide into it.
Huh.
And then I can do whatever.
Anticipate
that also, and then bring it over down.
Yeah. And if the hand comes, then you block the hand.
Or if you already knew you were in a combat situation and you're already going with your standard
Here.
punch defense,
Here.
and you go for the belly.
And then.
Yes. So if you're thinking pin and float, and I'm grabbing.
You're supposed to go out.
No, if you're pin and float.
Okay.
Isn't that what you normally do?
Yeah, we normally come out. Yeah.
But do that and you.
Yeah, you ended up with a different technique
Yeah.
because of your hand position, because you never came back and think about that, you know, is if they start curling, you've got to on impact.
Wait,
Rip it through
have you done the ropes so
to
now?
get
No, I'm fine.
the turn.
I just looked like
Why do you want to
that,
move on so quickly?
I don't,
Barton She-Hulk.
I just like.
Well, I mean.
Is that or like a knuckle rake? for-
There is there's a knuckle rake in Shiho and you immediately throw it away. So it curves. It's coming here, and you kind of throw it away.
Then you're the beginning, about the middle.
Yeah.
Maybe past the middle a little bit.
So you think that you grabbed and I strike the
So,
kidney,
see,
right?
I think it's because of my blood pressure.
Wonder.
I'm got it. Perfect timing.
I might do this side.
Switch radio.
Let's see, I was doing it for a while, so no.
Getting lost. Maybe that's a break.
You want to increase. Short back there.
Okay, so part of your problem is you're reaching over. Go this way, put your thumb on top of.
There you go,
top of it,
yes.
Right there. Yeah, sharpen it. Now, as you see, yeah, bring it into your hand. Otherwise. If I, well, this is kind of somewhat in the way, if I tried to lift this up. You can
This
just
side
push it down, right, you can control. So if I go here.
Left in, right in.
I don't, see, my shoulders don't move, my balance doesn't break left or right, if I try going this way, my balance is off, yeah, he can just dump me. If I just come here and at the same time, just throw that both hand distractions here, then I'm right in
You gotta think of it coming this way.
Oh.
That's my suggestion.
Yeah, yeah.
Every part of the
There you
body is a
go.
weapon.
Bite the pinky.
Well, you'll certainly never want anyone to fight you.
The pinky eater, eats your finger.
That's there's so many martial arts techniques out there that I see in seminars where their first response to lapel grabs is this. And they completely jacked up their back. I mean, it's so, yeah, it's
like.
Oh,
It's so
and there's no way you
simple.
can do that with
Up,
someone told
and
that
then
you can.
down.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
like, you should just do that a minute ago.
Oh.
You immediately have access to my back if I do this.
And you both end up your.
And you just.
Well, yeah, that's the other side. The other thing is I've essentially designed it so you can pummel me down here and I can't even see it.
That one was
So
different.
if I stay here and do this,
In this case.
Right.
I
Take
can
it
see
easy.
Yeah, yeah.
and see
Because I don't wanna have to then retract.
Right. Yeah. That was
So we found one where
I
if
think it's back in the elbow when you sat down.
We do this all the time.
striking and your hand goes across the top.
How's it going? How's it going?
I don't know.
Hi.
After you-
Yeah.
Go ahead, touch my shirt.
Go to the crease, though.
Well, the priest of the-
Go to his crease. So see how you're there?
Anyway.
I've learned a lot.
And then I like-
Yeah, you can.
All right.
Okay.
Ready?
So feel,
Peanut needle.
so,
Now we're gonna do your-
so feel, resist.
Why do you keep doing
I just, I
that?
just,
It's
I don't,
distracting.
because I think it's funny. Okay.
There's,
So I'm supposed to.
unless you want a delivered bridge,
Well,
then you
up
go
here,
across the.
Here.
There is a time and a place to delivered bridge,
Okay.
particularly if they're really strong people. I love the delivered bridge. It's like a mounted bridge.
Faces in the way.
I know.
So you have to
Yeah.
stop forward movement, you gotta do primary reverse.
Yes, as opposed to- well, I was kind of more out.
Primary reversal, that is.
That becomes the primary and this becomes the reverse.
So am I just continuing like that?
Because you pulled this back and that forward. Right?
You always had a great,
No,
great,
no way.
Now,
So-
the difference is. I got
The
this
wrist
way.
holds.
Oh, yeah. Yes. No, that's.
So if you're doing
I heard,
primary
but that's what they're.
This
that's what we're here.
Try that.
So
Literally on
you got up into here and it's hit his face, so now you need to lift that. And then you can
Come
turn
over.
around.
So
So
if I want to be a
enough
jerk,
room
I have
there.
it up in this position, I can just do a pop, right?
Too much room.
Yeah,
Lost it.
okay.
And again, so that kind of position.
Oh, I'm not rolling
You're not
that.
rolling,
Makes them
right.
wanna go
Ooh.
off of his heels.
Whoa.
Anytime you're doing techniques where they go
And
off
now
of
touch your
heels,
toes.
all you wanna do,
Yeah.
all you wanna do, it's not possible to make them levitate, right?
And the
So
other thing
anytime you're
is,
taking
uh,
it up,
yeah,
You gotta
okay.
take them down.
you've gotta take it back down. So what you want is the second you take them off their heels, just make them
I
take
said
one
touch your
step.
toes.
Just make them take one step and then reverse.
Touch your toes. See the
And it goes
difference?
from here to here.
And actually, you're reversing it
This way.
either between one step or two steps. So
Right, but
their
one
foot
minute-
starts,
Lost it.
once they got one foot completely off the ground, that's when you reverse it. And it may be, they take 2 steps or 1.5 steps.
Yeah, that's not moving
pretty
like
good.
this.
You did maybe.
Yeah.
And you can feel it.
Yeah, I was trying to
Right.
be nice this time.
Thank you.
Very.
So.
When they made this, they screwed up in the embroidery
You show
machine
fun.
and didn't have the space, so they poked a hole in it. So they screwed up.
And then-
Right.
And they were like, well, we can redo it if you give us another key, which of course would cost.
So I
I
can
had
knock
to
it my
buy
arm
another
out.
one,
Yeah. you gotta do
Or we
it,
can
yeah.
just discount it.
Yeah.
They just,
$0?
no.
$3.99.
I probably could have been that guy.
That's what you should have said. $0.
I probably could have been that guy who bitched and complained and maybe got it free, because I've been doing business with them for years.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, it's not that big of a deal.
You too.
You're the second person that's noticed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first person.
I never noticed it.
The first person that noticed it,
Yep.
was at that last seminar I taught out in, Shelby, North Carolina. I'm sitting there and one of my good buddies that were constantly giving each other grief, he walks up behind me as we're listening to a lecture and starts going like this, right on it. And I'm like, I should have known it would have been you. Nobody else does the entire seminar, but
I had to let
you're
go.
standing behind me just looking at it like it's an honor.
I saved myself. That would have really.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to do. I think I came over here
Yeah, but that's what it is.
on and off.
I think, you know, I really think they could have just threaded it instead of
Right,
patching
do a
it.
big ass patch.
Yeah, it's just.
You feel
Maybe
like
they figured out a period of time,
I don't know.
it would come apart if they just sewed
If
it.
they had done this on the inside.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm doing some.
Right, right.
It's just sewed at the line.
Yeah.
And then push.
More of the same.
But
you
yeah,
wanna make it
basically,
a-
they stuck it in the hoop. Whoever did it,
Enough of that.
whoever put it in the hoop,
Well, 'cause one
that
thing
was
is-
cutting.
Yeah.
It's sort of the same thing.
I get it, yeah. Huh,
I don't know where they want to do.
right, I got it.
Yeah. Time reflection.
One arm, that'd be
You
good.
stepped outside.
Sort of like transition.
Oh, this is the question. This thing, I don't want to break. Oh, it's a retracted this.
I don't like it more.
Yeah.
I've seen it like that.
So, like,
Yeah, that's it for the telegram, so this is. Being.
Where's the open?
What he should be.
Opening for a couple of them right here.
You're just.
It's on that side,
Yeah,
turn and face that way.
go here. And then,
So he's here, the opening is this piece here, right?
Yeah.
And
That's the worst.
is, if he's just doing one hand, he can't, his hands, his fingers are not long enough to go all the way around.
Yeah, put the side.
And a hand.
So if I look that way and push,
It'd be like.
I'm into high five.
Doing
If
this.
I lose the pinky, I just regain the pinky.
Yeah.
Alright, that's another video that I just posted about losing the pinky.
Like this before.
I like posted this week,
Very.
Oh, I saw.
like 5 different videos.
I saw.
I just posted one right before class today too.
Oh, really? I'll have to go check it out. Yeah, I'm trying to get better about going on Facebook. checking you
But
out,
no, you,
checking-
people.
yeah, no,
Videos,
it's
it's actually
fucking
got
they get on
this.
Facebook, so
It's here.
still.
Here's how he's-
You
You always subscribe to the YouTube channel.
I don't get on Facebook or I don't have time to read it, I'm 250 pages right now.
Elbow.
You're long.
Read a 250-page manual.
Oh, on your truck?
Learn how to.
There's something missing there.
Got a question?
We're doing the upward curl, palm flexion, forearm pivot. You know. what it is, right? The names. You know this.
I'm at that point where I
It's
can't
not,
find a
it's not
spot.
very, there's not much light here either.
Oh, okay, so you're doing,
Oh,
so they're grabbing
Mm-hmm.
and they curl up
Oh, yeah.
and we're coming here. Over the top.
yeah, okay.
Right, so I'm revolving door that hinges in the center. Right, so he's here and I'm creating
Like I want to push
this side of the revolving door and this side of the revolving door.
all the time. So if
Okay,
I'm
and
like,
this is where
like
they.
doing this stuff.
Which I'm over here.
And then I am doing Nahachi knee on at the end. Yes.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. So if you grab, and I just treat it like a hinge here,
You know,
because he's in that position.
Yeah.
Well, one thing you can do.
It's kind of hard, but if I go both directions,
Oh, so you did two different sawing motions.
yes, I'm
Oh,
doing
Instead of thinking
two
you don't
sawing,
do that,
I'm doing two sawing
Oh.
motions.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm doing peon, knee on, peon, knee on, right? It's out of order, out of sequence, but both moves are from, knee. Of course, in the video or the book, I don't specifically go that way.
Watching.
I said peon. Sorry.
Sure.
But, so like,
Building a pressure.
so basic here,
Bridging.
and then you have here, but the more advanced process as you do it. Right? And so that's what that is. Revolving door, 2 directions.
Here's a question. So, he thinks it's called intentional bridging, but what is it whenever I'm pushing against someone, getting them to push back and then let go?
That
is intentional bridging.
Yeah. So
I thought it was called something else.
So
Because I thought,
bridging is when you don't do it with the intent
Right.
of, like
Basic.
You accidentally.
high,
Yeah.
high five,
Right.
and you let that collapse, which was what today's video, part of what today's video is on. If you lost that egg,
Yeah.
now
You
they're
got that
able to
motion
bridge
with
and
that
resist you,
Arm.
right? So if I
Got my
wanted
arms
to
on
do
this. I
deliberate
didn't have to
bridging,
go the way that they.
I would go in
Like
and
this. Yeah.
push here and then relax,
Okay.
right?
So,
That's,
so any sort of time
With these
whenever I'm getting him to.
There's questions in the comments.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's good you see it every.
Some people do.
rather than like-
some people
Yeah,
people
yeah.
post stupid shit.
Yeah, I'm not.
So
don't
you're
have a
talking
file,
about
that's what
like
it
you
is.
said, when your opponent becomes stronger, that's when you relax
Yes.
in order to use their energy.
Yeah.
Just
Bridging
like,
bad intentional bridging.
just like we switch feet, same
Uh,
principle then, sort of, maybe, no?
Switch feet is more
This comes over.
body
here.
alignment and weight
This comes.
is
over
what
here,
weight
like this.
transfer. Deliberate bridging, even like double forearm drag,
Oh.
if he grabs really
That
hard
worked.
Yeah.
That
and
worked.
I squeeze and
That was.
then relax,
That really
that's
worked.
deliberate
The
bridging.
important part
Right,
is-
I'm letting his muscles resist me, and the second I relax, he relaxes.
I got it, yeah.
Yeah.
And the worst part is you know it's.
It's a motor, and you can't stop it, that's why it's so cool about
Opposite
it to me.
side. Yeah. Does
Um,
this.
It's a drought, you know they can't resist it.
It's just human nature.
Right.
Yeah, if you feel that relax, so you relax, and then you hit it.
Pop them out here.
And then I noticed he also gets to the outside of the
I wonder if
arm.
that's the body's
Like that.
unconscious light or flight
They
response.
kind of have it okay.
So once they
Sort
think
of,
the tension's gone, your body
real
relaxes too, because now you're not in,
I think it's,
you know.
I almost
that
wonder if
fight.
it's context switching, because I feel like your body's like, oh, I'm resisting, they're not resisting.
There's
Right,
nothing
we
there now.
calculate, then go back in, that's what.
And it's because it doesn't even get to your brain. It just
Yeah,
goes
okay.
Yes, yes, it is a final
Okay,
response.
and it was kind of weird because I ended up.
Don't
in-
change that.
I
That was
ended up
good.
in.
But that
where I was
has
doing
to
it like
be
this,
energy.
which was weird.
Yeah.
Right? Because your body is
I mean-
responding to the energy,
You wanna try that?
Sure.
It,
which is the strength, which is the power, you know what I'm saying?
So we're gonna.
I'm trying to think more like foo-foo-y, like frequency and sound and energy.
I don't really think so much it's
I
bad,
think
it's
you
your
also
body.
need to get out.
It kind of merges a little with like what I call a brace for impact principle,
Okay, so.
right?
Because
Your
he-
body
you know, the
naturally
way
knows
he's
how to
standing
resist things, at
He's
least
way
they
out here.
can see.
For-
He's
for-
outside.
So
for-
I come up and do
Right,
this motion,
right.
This
your
way.
body
Right.
Right,
naturally,
and not dismiss, because you don't hit, yeah.
So.
Yeah.
your body from childhood development, as you're learning to stand and fighting, you learn to brace for
Just the
impact.
fact,
Right.
just the
So,
motion
If,
takes
if
you.
I'm coming in and trying to hit you.
Right.
You
Really
you
fucking
naturally
out.
tense and your
This,
you
Right,
naturally
right.
position your
Not
body.
that leg fixing up, right.
Yeah, everything
Yeah.
happens.
Right, right.
So that's brace for
Notice
impact.
how he's
Right.
And
got.
same thing,
Right.
when you're fighting
Yes.
muscles wise,
Uh-huh.
your body is
It's got, I
bracing
guess he's creating a
that
hook with
tension
his finger there.
for the push,
The other
for
one
the
comes
impact,
underneath.
the same kind of thing.
So it's reverse psychology, which is hard to do when you're doing defense,
It takes you right
because
into
you're doing,
Yeah, it's pretty.
you have to do
pretty
the
effective.
opposite.
Yeah.
And that's
And
what's
And
hard.
it's also,
You you cannot train
it's okay to
yourself
make a few mistakes.
out of
Right.
this.
Right.
Some of these other ones,
Human
like,
nature.
you make
Like one of my
mistakes.
favorite things to do is the seminars where you got the guys that got the big abs of steel.
Yeah,
There's numerous styles where they train to just beat the crap out of each other, and they'll train punches. So if I come up
Oh, one.
hit him
I was
in
thinking
the
of.
belly, he naturally braces for impact.
right, right.
So what he's doing is he's. he's putting that little-
I call it a stagger punch, right? But you felt what happened.
Yeah.
Your body expected, it anticipated, it's tracking my punch, and then it's expecting it to go one Mississippi, two Mississippi,
So much
three.
here, but
And it
you
didn't-
get the-
It's not there.
It's
And
not
so
free.
No,
what,
I-
so what did it
Yeah.
immediately do?
Relax.
It relaxed, and then I touched. Right? I didn't even hit it hard,
Right.
but I.
This time you got me like this, but you still raising.
Right.
Because they can't switch that off. Now, the only way to stop it is if he closes his eyes, then he doesn't track it.
Right, right.
But then that's where
Yeah.
the 3D thermal redirection, and I can still drop all those. They'll do. and I
Maybe
don't
something
think
totally different from a color.
I doubt Vince did it. He may have done it when he was with
Review any
Full
of
Smith before Dojo back in.
Yeah, it was.
But there's kind of on
Right,
San Chin,
right. Mhm.
and they'll get in San Chin
25 minutes.
in this like stand in that pose like that. Right,
Still
they'll get in San Chin, and the instructors come up here and beat
Right,
and kick.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
yeah.
And it's all about their dynamically like squeezing all of their muscles, and I'll walk up and go,
That.
and just take it with this table leg, and hardly, I'll make it look like I'm putting some
Right,
kinetic
and
flow
then,
into
then
it,
you stop.
and then they spin and hit the ground, and they're like, because they're used to
Right,
being here and somebody's hitting
Yeah,
it,
they're used
but
to
they're
it.
not.
Very.
They're not thinking about the
Straight,
table leg,
straight.
they're not thinking about thermal redirection, any of that stuff, they've never been trained, so, yeah. And then you.
No, we never did that.
You
Vince never taught that.
do.
Yeah.
It's stagger, and it's just like, they end up, they relax right before.
Right, right.
It just works their mind.
That hurts a lot with the push, cause you don't need force, so you can be like, force.
You're excited about teaching cheating bow, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm very rusty, but yeah,
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier.
yeah.
Oh, we're.
Yeah, I'm excited to get back to teaching really, because I think that is more motivational than anything.
It is.
Is when you teach, then that kind of motivates yourself. Because, it's kind of, I don't know what it is in reverse psychology, but it's just, what's really hard is, for me mentally, when Tuite died, I just missed so much as a result of it, and it mentally, it was a hard time for me, and I didn't train for a while, and especially after the association with Helen Handbasket and their assholes running it,
Yeah.
who would call me on the phone and dictate to me what I was gonna do, what I wasn't gonna do, what I was gonna teach and everything, and I'm like, oh, what, wait a minute. Tuite gave this to me, and it's my choice to decide what I'm gonna do. You're not gonna call me and tell me what to do. That's not how this is gonna go down. And then we eventually left. And, then
Which is all
COVID
my
hit.
fault.
Yeah, no, yeah, right. Then COVID hit, and then, everybody was losing touch then, so it's just been a real jaggedy 5 or 7 years for me, really. But, so I'm hoping that teaching will kind of light a spark in me.
You're gonna be a little something like, what he's
Well,
doing, like, out of your home or something?
I don't know what I'm gonna do. I mean,
Well, and she's
we're
gonna be traveling too, so.
Always try to do all that, Harvey.
Yeah, we
Traveling
couldn't
good.
come to the luncheon because that was the weekend that I
Yeah.
had scheduled for RV class, and we needed to get it in before any bad weather hit here, so that we could get in and leave 1st of February.
We didn't say anything bad, right?
Well, if you did, that's okay. But anyway, so right now, I don't even really know what my 2025 is gonna look like, other than through
February.
February. Well, we'll be in the East Coast February and March. We're gonna stay, we're gonna drive, we got 2 resorts that were scheduled in Florida for March after the seminar, and to see some friends and stuff. Then we're coming back home, and then it's like, how long are we gonna be home? Do we wanna go somewhere else? What do we wanna schedule? So I don't know what I'm gonna do.
So we're on the East Coast, so we're gonna be.
Well, we're first gonna drive to Savannah, Georgia, and we're gonna be there for 4 days, watch the Super Bowl. Hopefully the Chiefs will be in that. And then we'll drive an hour down to Brunswick, Georgia, which is where some family is, and be there for a week, and then drive to Jacksonville, be there for a week, do the seminar, then drive down to Naples, Florida, where I have some friends that live in Fort Myers, and then we're gonna go across to Port Lucie at a place called Ocean Breeze. It's a RV resort right on the water. We're gonna be there for a week, and then we're
Thinking that the Dojo Zoom is supposed February as well, except nowhere near where you're gonna be.
Yeah.
Back to
He's
like
cousin
DC
pretty-
area.
Oh, okay.
I had to go out and help my daughter pack up and move because they're gonna be moving. She's going through a divorce and she's got 4 kids.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like,
I was focused on this
Yeah.
sketch, I don't know why.
What people will be.
It's easier to see as a who came from.
Yes.
Wow.
They're gonna be packed.
Yeah, I bet. Well, that's so nice of you to do that with your daughter, because that's a terrible situation to be in.
Okay, that.
And, the thing about it is,
I'm just grabbing a weird.
which I'm sure she's facing the situation is, you know, how can I afford to rent a place, especially on the East Coast?
You're nasty.
Now, obviously, the Midwest isn't as bad, but, I mean, you know, rent is just so outrageous everywhere.
Russian neck.
Nobody
I was trying to think of the name of
is
it.
really
What is
wanting
that?
to jump
So
in
that's
and
when
buy
somebody
a
comes
house
up,
for 7%
grabs
interest
you
rate.
behind,
Yeah.
presses
You
you
know,
down.
so it's just financially, it's just not,
Russian.
not
I
really
don't
good
know where
right
the name
now.
comes from.
So,
Because
costs so
honestly,
much. So,
Right now,
So is that supposed to be a defensive?
Stay at our house, so she can build up.
right,
I've got things in mind,
Give her
but
about a year to live in us, build up, you know.
And then this.
So,
yeah.
that presses in,
Little place.
and then
right.
Right now,
that's
oh my
what's-
gosh.
that's what's going on there.
Cause you actually,
Right, so,
Everything looked the way it did.
I think. it was-
so shucking your head,
He's cheated on.
right, so I wanna control that.
But, he has to change his-
Because I don't
Well, it's
want,
hard because.
I don't wanna get hit with this, cause that's usually the goal, that's usually the goal.
Yeah,
Is
good
they're
question.
coming here,
Does-
and they're gonna start doing
Did
that.
they both work? Did they both work?
Well,
Again,
they both,
What I was thinking was,
stay at our house
and then do farm work,
for free,
something
so
like that.
Tom could build us.
That's what I was thinking.
a-
But you pulled. the
Business,
band back.
yeah.
That-
And she was
It
playing-
worked.
Well, so honestly,
So now I have to adjust for that.
Really?
That's why I said,
Oh,
shuck it.
yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't shut the garden. There ain't,
So,
there,
grab it in.
which makes it.
So,
Glass.
The
Yeah.
float is this way, I need to get it under it, so
Yes.
I'm dealing with this.
Oh, until you have to do that.
Hmm.
Oh, no, like this.
Yeah, And, you know, I mean, obviously, grab,
Yeah.
this is how I control
Okay.
the dynamic of that, right? Is by going this way, that also loads that, so I could do other things there, but it's pretty easy to shuck it. If I'm here, and you're pushing in here,
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to get
Wow.
out of it. But if I push this
The legs
sideways,
were blown out like that.
it's pretty easy.
At that point, like,
I can go into that.
close, or
One more time.
I'm not paying.
All right, we get through it once.
And so you as a
I was
taller,
gonna say, this is something that direction, next time, it's probably better than short people to do.
probably.
Oh, yeah, so
right.
Yeah.
And then.
Good spider web.
Got it.
Just a little tight, boy, nothing to worry about.
Yes.
No, that- there's the money you said.
25.
Well, right.
They think that actually, the gas.
So as you're coming through.
Come up and.
Well, I
don't
don't
have
have
parts
parts
of
of
it
all,
all,
one year.
but
I
it lasts for like.
God, I can't believe
irrigation,
it's
which
such
then-
a-
You
that's
can-
agreed, that's contract. I can't believe a judge wouldn't look at that. with
I still have kind of a
kids and
constant
say,
acting
oh, no.
cough that's
If
never
you're
gone away
ridiculous,
since
you
COVID.
pay your own lawyer fees, I can't imagine.
Actually, I hit the leg.
And
And,
not only that,
you know,
but
That's
when I went to the
the
doctor,
question is,
probably
she
in
ended up signing
2021,
that under the
they
rent.
were like,
It
nobody
wasn't-
knows, it could
it
last
wasn't
5
that-
years.
It was.
It lasts 1 year.
mutually agreed contract. It was,
I mean, they're just
he
mine.
had
and they have to-
somehow put
So
it
how many
under
years did you
duress,
smoke?
forced her to sign it. Okay,
you have your.
That's why isn't the lawyer saying, you know, this, she signed this under duress, false pretense.
Right, the judge says, well, we don't have any.
And that's it. You can prove the wrong entity.
Yeah, and so. What you asked.
It's yeah, it just blows my mind still today in this age.
That was my.
You know,
first
my
thought.
mom got divorced and she was 50 and she was a stay-at-home mom. I mean, that works
coming
some
up
screw
and early
there.
this, just because it
Screw
was
there,
there.
really bad. And you would think nowadays that wouldn't be the case.
Switched on.
From there, switched on.
Or,
You know,
or punch it.
and that's why I'm so glad I'm out
Oh.
of dealing with litigation for so many years is it's a corrupt system. And I've been in it for
Switched up. I don't know.
39 years. Wasn't too
It's-
bad the first 20,
You
But-
shoot your feet.
it
Yeah,
really
but
started
applying it
to
yeah, I know.
deteriorate.
I hear
And
it's just a
it
step to the left.
exponentially is.
It's just a step to the left.
I never had it.
Put your hands on your
Five
hips.
years of me working,
Knees in
it
time.
is a nightmare, the amount of.
It's funny, I actually watched that off your
Double
server,
Oh, yeah.
year to the year.
about a month ago. I was like,
It's
I haven't
just
seen
a-
this probably since the eighties.
I'm
Oh,
trying
it's going-
to
yeah.
supply,
Yeah.
I get judges
I
who
love
are
it.
not
That
following
sounds great.
traditional procedure.
That was a
That's
topic
written in
that
the
I'm like,
state
yeah,
codes
I
about
love this.
discovery,
Did you ever go to the
they're
theater
not-
and see
they're
it?
No,
not
I've been told
following
it's
it.
a great
So
experience.
you go to
Because people say
trial,
Like
you've already filed
every
your,
weekend at
your
Bannister
motions
Square, they would
because
show
of
it.
it. You
And
go
people
to
would go in to
trial.
squirt guns and
My last-
train
my
it,
last-
and it just,
Case I had to
just
try
all
twice
the
in
little
Mississippi.
theatrics.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was
That they
a
did,
jury
you know,
decision.
they'd say, I forget, like,
Then I
somebody
hired
would
a
say
local
something.
lawyer,
and
so I
everybody
had
would
to
say
end
that,
up having 3 lawyers on this case.
You know,
because I hired a local lawyer to file a complaint with the
goofy
state
shit.
Oh,
about
And if you're not on the inside,
judge
then you're
being
like.
rogue and not following.
Yeah, I remember like
the
the first time I went, I'm just like,
By doing that, we were able to get a new
So-
judge
I remember
assigned
people
for
like
a
going to letting
case,
people
and
like throw
then
rice.
we filed a motion
Yeah.
for him
I'm
to
sure
address
theaters
all
like
these
it.
discovery
yeah, they
issues.
did not. At
And
one
he
point, they
agreed
ended up
with us
banning,
on our laundry list of
rice
evidence
and
that we were
squirt
not
guns
able
and
to present in
probably
the
a couple
first
other
trial.
times.
We try it
Yeah,
again,
people
we
still,
did a
you know, I
different
mean,
trial.
like they were patting
So-
people down.
Right.
This
They
is
just-
the
You
shit.
have to shoot your
So
squirt
people
gun
go,
where they
oh, my
couldn't
insurance
see
is
you
going
from the
up.
back.
Well, I had to pay
Yeah, you
$3
can't walk in
for
with a super
pieces
skirt.
twice
Yeah.
You know, a little.
because
like,
of that fucking judge.
Cheapo square
Who
gun.
is a lazy
spinning.
ass motherfucker.
I don't know how that
And they're
whole
all
thing
over-
evolved.
Yeah, I was
Because you don't
wondering-
have to start somewhere and spread throughout.
All
the country.
across.
Yeah, it was a really low, like they found it wasn't really, didn't go anywhere almost
Okay.
immediately, and then it kind of grew.
My guess is people were like, it's the same reason that people like Mystery Science Theater 3000 were like, let's go with my friends, let's go see a terrible movie. Hey, this movie actually is pretty freaking hilarious. Drinks were probably involved. And they're like, you know what? We're gonna come back here with some rice because I forgot the guy's name.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Deserves a proper wedding, you know?
Over a month ago.
Yeah, maybe it was late. Damn it, Janet.
Damn, Janet.
You're talking
I
about.
just remember he was on Lab.
Different judge.
Yeah,
Curry, Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
Oh yeah, Tim Curry's
Yeah.
brother, Frank.
And then Meatloaf,
Yeah.
was the guy on the bike.
Oh, and Susan Sarandon,
Yeah.
I could.
Chris Sarandon, I knew him better from Princess Bride.
But because.
Humperdinck?
I can't walk with what he said.
I shall be very, I shall be very put out.
I like how he's just basically said, my wife's been kidnapped.
Maybe we could.
Well, I'm just miffed. Like,
No, you're asking him to do more work. He's
I'm
not
just
gonna
a
do
little
more
upset.
work. He's made his
Well, it's
decision.
funny,
Yeah.
he's bragging
gonna
about
do
how he's
more
never
work.
run it, but he really
He
was never
wants to
running.
go on the golf course. He
Yeah,
doesn't want to
I okay.
relook
I
at it.
bet my life on it.
Bullshit. That's
How?
scapegoat for the second.
I was told it was odorless.
That's
You're
all right.
just like,
Because he knew
Yep, I-
that nothing was gonna come out.
It's one of those
Everybody
movies I
was
can't
trying
watch enough.
to act like he was
It's just
pleasing
so
all the
good.
parties.
The
But all
whole,
these
the whole
judges
scene with
go
the Sean,
to
with
lunch
Sean
with
Wallace.
each other, and they go to
the
lunch
IO
with the
team's
players
out here.
bar and all this kind of
I
crap.
like,
There's also the Miracle Max.
Some
Billy
of it
Crystal,
is-
he's like,
I guess that scene was actually
I'll
for a
just
while
order
because
this
it wasn't due
discovery and
whenever
that
for 3
discovery,
days.
and that'll keep that evidence
They
out.
actually have 3 days of filming of just him and Miracle
Max.
Max, yeah. So they actually had to kick people out the sound
And
people
illegal
because they're laughing.
communication.
The director was first.
As a exchange of money,
What's her name?
you know, I'll throw you,
Oh,
you throw me a bone.
I don't know her actress, I know her character name.
But her characters are always just
Or
really,
whatever, I mean,
yeah,
it's
weird like that.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I
and,
couldn't remember her
you know,
name.
my
The thing I love
clients,
most about him is
I
when he's like,
worked
well,
for
your
my
friend
last
here is
employers with
almost,
Q,
or mostly
Mostly
dead.
dead.
which is now
Thank
the
goodness he's not
station,
all dead.
and,
What happens to all that? Well, there's only
future
one thing to
credit
do.
unions.
Go through his
And-
pockets and look through his
Yeah, I talked to my
strange.
credit
It's all
union,
due
it's
to
class action, it's bullshit, bogus, breach of contract case. and I'm
You guys are
I
playing
mean,
cards and
they're just so frustrated with me and our defense lawyers, which are one of the top class action defense lawyers in the United States out of Chicago, Illinois. And I'm on the phone with them, and
I
granted,
did this too.
the head of the
This.
team of
But
class
we didn't do
actions,
this.
and we're talking to this credit union, and,
Missing.
you know,
So
they're
that's
so
very
frustrated,
fine,
and
BJJ.
it's like, you know, every time I try to say, well, judge.
No, I
this,
was just
judge
like,
that,
this is interesting
judge
because usually
this,
we always square off.
Yeah,
You know, the only
So,
way we're
very,
gonna be
very
able to
common in
get past
BJJ,
this
what they
is
wanna
we're gonna have to file
do is they're
appeal.
gonna go
We're gonna file a
here,
motion.
because
for
they
appeal.
wanna come around
And,
and take your back.
you know, when you're
So me,
finding
Randall, is setting you
yourself
off their class had a purpose.
filing more appeals or writs to the state Supreme Court, or even
This
the
is the stuff
Supreme
they
Court
teach
of
us
the
in the
land,
language.
just seems to be a natural occurrence
I know,
that
I
you're
get it.
doing
I-
day in and day out.
I don't know, I feel like.
Well, yeah, cause your right hand is
That
outside
it's
now.
a messed up system.
I'm just going for it.
And it is. And really, our law
Actually,
is
what I
based
do
upon merit
is if I'm coming in like
and
this.
not common
this
law
leg is-
under the Constitution, by the way. Because,
I just do a double kick, honestly.
and,
Dude, I'm
and
just doing
where
knee.
that shifted
Dude,
was
it's
in
a straight knee right into it,
1871,
and
after
then
1871.
you're turning
So after the
clockwise,
Civil
so
War,
do your,
Into it,
do your knee,
our
and then
country
bring
was
that
financially
left arm
better.
up and around, and you got
And
Tuite.
So.
We, in England, you know, the.
Oh, I meant up and around his arm.
Oh.
You could go, you could go to, you could go to
The
a
headlock.
a
And
headlock.
it really, this is, no.
But yeah, there you're right.
I don't borrow money from you. And, plus, I'm gonna issue my
Oh, not the
own
way to go.
greenbacks or bonds, right? To,
Okay, so
distribute
this
in
is,
America,
straight
to
Oh, I guess.
country financially back on track.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah.
So,
Straight
left
knee.
left arm, rodeo.
Okay, so it's here, feet it.
Yeah.
That
Right
was
into that.
to give us money, because the next president, he was a villain and he agreed to it, right? They gotta get their man in there. So they can get
Do I need to put the politics sign back on?
Which is exactly what they
They
did.
talk about
And
it.
like, created
It sounded like
serve in
Well, it's funny when we were.
Right? So then fast forward to the
Yeah.
1960s and you have Canada.
Oh, really?
They really suck. But they have good
All it takes is.
Guess what?
You don't follow those
I'm gonna
techniques,
give
right?
you my
Yeah.
own money.
And then I'm not down
Take
like
it
this.
for one,
But,
Yeah.
That's right. Look it up.
Well, yeah.
So it's like,
he can go that one
shot
time.
that.
You turn it.
You do the
Yeah.
thing, the purchase of the car, she's got a manual.
What happens there?
And like, you know, he's all about, civil rights
Yeah,
and
change technique.
And he looked right at it, and he reacted.
Or you can break this from down.
thing.
Oh, so
It's
just.
holy
down.
Wars of bankers.
I don't think that should work, but alright.
Well, if you had your
About
elbow
the
on it.
money, it's
Well,
about the
okay.
coup we did in 2014.
Oh.
I mean, we've been cooling all over the
Yeah.
world for decades. And it's coming back to
So mess up like
kick
this.
us in the ass right now.
Okay.
And so.
Well, I gotta.
It's
I'd probably switch
I know, I was thinking it's.
like, weird, so this country is,
right,
Yeah.
right arm over the cruise.
it's bankrupt, it's bankrupt. And,
You're trying to grab the
Yeah.
hand
Take his-
together.
Take his chin with here,
Donald Trump
so
make changes to.
he's
prevent that.
palm up, so
Yes.
you're not getting the
I know.
arm.
Yeah.
So
I pray that he can.
strike,
Because,
drop,
Oh,
I'm 60
and then
and if
come in
nothing
there.
happens, then
This
within
arm.
6 years,
then arm bar.
Social Security
The arm.
Medicare, Medicaid. There's gonna be none of these,
So, here.
it's not that I could probably still buy it on my own, because I've saved for retirement for many
Greece.
years.
Uh,
But,
Over, and then when I
People
was
don't
wondering about
start-
it, you did it from the other hand, where instead of putting it up here,
This way.
Yeah.
Did it with that,
so,
the outside.
Yeah.
do it this way.
Yeah.
You wanna be, cause he didn't grab hold of the can.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
Probably wanna.
yeah.
You could, yeah, because you would end up in high five.
If you're there.
Okay. I
So
didn't,
if
I
you're-
was getting so burnt
If
out.
you're
when I was-
there, what I feel is awkward is because of that length,
I have to pretend you're up there.
they're fairly
You
strong.
know, the whole time is-
But this way,
Oh, yeah.
they're not as strong.
Okay.
And that may be an arm
One trick.
arm length, you know, I've got shorter arms, so it may,
You're doing this.
yes,
And we
and
have
then
control that.
I
No,
just,
and
I just.
drop straight down.
But if we
You're,
shift back
so
to common
here,
versus.
and I'm gonna let this completely
Which
Yeah.
pass,
is basically
and I
every
just
lawyer.
Pull it out.
put that elbow in,
pledges
and
That
then
figure
go
that down
your
to
royal
something.
family.
or I can do.
And I probably do that after you're off.
That, but I tend to like to
That's a.
do that grab.
Did you like going like this?
It's for evil.
I'm a cat.
But yes, right.
It's not common law exam for common
Pull
law.
that
in
towards
the
your
United
over
States.
and then
It's
think
just
shields
their
or.
allegiance.
There,
Yeah.
To, the royal family.
Baseball.
Like that.
That's what we were doing.
Here,
It has a lot of that Chinese emotion thing.
yes, very much, I don't remember how they got there to begin with,
But
but
like you with more sovereignty and.
there we go. There's the rodeo.
Well, now that
But,
we're.
How you got to this
I mean,
position to begin
you
with.
know,
but-
We were.
Was it just straight off of that?
Well, so what we were doing is we were saying, okay, we understand the armbar can happen, the armbar can snap. What happens if it flips up?
If they rotate the ball.
Yeah.
You gotta.
So they go here and you start to do something and they.
Yeah,
slide up.
and slides up, or just hits towards the thumbs up instead of down.
So
So if they
It's-
grab them, don't you?
all has to change because.
Yeah, but like, so as you start to lift that, like they're saying, maybe they're-
Oh, I see.
Because it was the BJJ thing.
Yeah, it was the- yeah, it was-
oh, they start with the BJ's.
Right,
And then you
Oh,
went
and that's what
under,
they're trying to-
Yeah, it was
and went
coming
here, but
And
then
I
what happens to
know
the
that I think
split?
The first,
Right.
the smart thing
And they do
is
that.
and they do that,
to
yeah.
bring back energy into those countries.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not awkward, but-
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how he got into it.
Yeah, what happened with
What happens if they flip it out?
So in BJJ, they try to do something like that.
Do this.
Yeah, so very common, like you got your hands up, what they'll do is they'll come up, touch your
But he
shoulder,
reversed all
touch
the
the elbow,
regulations.
and spin
He
you
reversed all the
And then they come around
regulations,
here,
that
and then they throw you over your leg.
And then he
I'm glad you didn't
sold
squeeze too hard,
all
so I had that beans.
the permits
Yeah,
that
well,
were pending.
You gonna shoot something?
The real.
So they'll either, depending on height, they'll either come up under,
Shut it all
spin
down
'em.
and then continue.
or if they're taller, they'll slap down and spin
To
them.
where we
It's not
found
something I ever need to practice.
maybe 30 days
Right.
of oil that.
But
could
that's very
run to the
common.
United States.
BJJ, the matches start here. They do a fist bump, a backhand for some reason, and then it's all this stuff, right? And so they're trying to get around to get somebody to the ground, and that's a very common takedown, because they wanna get behind you.
He's completely got.
They essentially have front folds and back
The very
folds.
top.
Are two of their more common
Putting it up
takedowns.
all the way.
So a front fold
Down
is where my
down
ear
here,
is in their
like a
chest,
60-year
and
low.
my hands are down
On
here,
Western
and I'm
Virginia.
folding them,
And people just go.
called a body fold. And
it
then
goes their
from the
way.
back, they just call it take back, and they'll put a leg here, and they'll throw them over it. Now, you gotta keep in mind, BJJ, they don't have to worry about anybody punching them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, cause when you're doing that, I'm like,
It's like.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
elbow to the
they
back
don't
of the
have to
neck.
worry about that, because it's a sport with rules.
It's a sport, okay. I was
Yeah,
thinking,
yeah, I was like,
It's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu,
I knew what
BJJ.
BJJ is, I didn't know it's a sport either.
It's 100% sport.
It's 100%.
There is no
That's since
wrist
January,
locks
you know.
until you reach,
Yes.
I think, blue or
and
green belt.
Yeah, it's.
They don't have as many belts
It
as,
really
like,
is, But,
most karate have 10 belts.
you know, Trump's got his.
BJJ,
so that's
usually
like
4 or 5 belts,
people are gonna-
depending on.
And
what
you never
offshoot
wanna
it is.
be
But again,
careful.
it's 100%.
Go to 80-20. As far as
Everything
human
is
rights.
tournament related. They have gi
And you know.
tournaments and no gi tournaments. No gi, they're wearing shorts and t-shirts. So, that you're not gonna see
That's why.
Yeah.
lapel grabs and stuff,
Yeah.
particularly when they're on the
That's why
ground
I
in
go to
knots.
the first
If it's a
place.
gi deal,
But
they're
that also
commonly
is
using
disadvantage for me.
the person's, or trying to use
So
the
he
person's
kinda
gi
knows
to
the sneaky games. that
either
they
do a
play.
carotid or an actual
Opposed to
choke.
Is it a modification of judo or?
Who are basically two pieces
yeah,
of pie.
Actually,
So if
judo came
we
from
can appoint, yeah, there's a
jiu-jitsu,
lot of
spawned
inmates
judo,
of us
and
with some
then
of his appointments. but if
BJJ.
you can, you
uh,
know, keep
somebody took
bringing it on.
jiu-jitsu
He's
to
not
Brazil
from
and
that law.
spawned Brazilian
Crap,
jiu-jitsu.
that sit
Right, so,
here and play with her fucking money all the time, pay
So,
themselves. I saw
at any rate,
a meme the other day.
jiu-jitsu was
They
not
had
a
a
sport.
chart, had
Judo came from
explosive
it
space on the
and
side and.
got rid of a bunch of
Yeah, you
techniques.
know,
It
Really?
just had
Just
just competitions, but basically throwing and taking people's balance, right?
Somehow it's garnered Nancy to have a total.
So it's an offshoot of it, and BJJ is a little bit different offshoot of it.
Question mark,
Yeah, you
question
can do
mark.
throws and stuff in
You know,
BJJ.
come on. Come on.
but you
I mean,
cannot,
you gotta wait.
there's no impacts.
So,
Any,
we'll
I could,
see.
I can, sounds bad, I can four-finger you, but I can't do single or double digits. So I couldn't do the intercostal brachialis. I couldn't put my hand here and push my thumb into that. That would be against the rule. But I could grab with all four fingers and squeeze.
Get out.
Right, so there's not really much in the way of
But
pressure
they got
points.
break and
But
Well, yeah, I mean, and it's not uncommon in a
we definitely.
seminar or in a tournament for somebody to break a rule,
We can no
and
longer go with the other.
if the ref doesn't see it, the ref doesn't see it.
Our police.
You'll typically have like 3 refs on the mat, if the seminar or the tournament's run correctly.
This has got to be.
So everything
A lot of people. in the
from
world-
white belt up, elbows and
It's
shoulders
because our
are your
military
main
being used
manipulations once you're on the ground.
other countries. and it's for decades.
Because
For the CIA and
higher propensity for injury with wrists and fingers, they can let
Their
white belts,
technicals are in everything, and that's
and
what's got to
whatever the
change.
next belt rank is, I forget. But it's like typically blue belt or brown belt is when they start allowing you to do, because you've learned more control.
Yeah.
They working with some BJJ?
Since 1996.
So, what are the kind of interactions you have with them? Do they,
Uh,
are they interested in what you're doing and incorporate?
If you
so
want
interesting
to,
enough, a couple of weeks ago, I taught a bunch of
I
BJJ
can,
guys how to do,
show you the
so very, very typical.
most critical
is
hand
they'll
motions
start here,
and
they do their
choose the
little-
bridge kata.
The referee calls them together,
It'll
they
be
do
something
a
really
back
different
slap,
you've
a
never
fist
seen
bump,
before, but,
and now it's ready, right? They're ready to go. And now
I
it's,
usually,
their
when I start
goal is to
teaching
get
the
to the
bridge,
ground.
I usually start,
90% of what they do is on
nobody
the ground.
moving, it's
So
just.
they wanna get you to the ground.
That's-
So
So,
they start out, and both
when
of
you,
them
and I'm
got
not
their
gonna
hands
do it,
up,
but
they're
when you
kinda
start,
doing
when you
this stuff,
start to
trying to
climb,
jockey and get in
it's,
position
you're
to
covering
where they can do a back takedown or something. Some of them will even immediately go to their butts,
straight out,
and so
so I'm straight out.
they'll
shoulder to
be
shoulder.
here,
So
and they'll
you're-
be trying
you're
to
protecting this space.
do
So I'm
takedowns
here.
with the
And
legs
then
and stuff like
these are gonna
that.
turn at the same time.
So the group that
This
I've
one
been
goes
training with since
underneath
probably
this one.
'96 or so.
And the
does-
second motion, when you
We
get to
take
here,
the
you turn,
techniques from the ground
and then you come back.
and
You turn and come
lose
back.
anything that's
Alright.
sport related. Right, so there's lots of things that, like if I was a
I'm
cop,
teaching it.
very common thing is what's called a backline
So,
arm bar, so
this
the
is-
bad guy's laying
so,
on the ground facing up.
Cover,
You've got their elbow
You're here,
basically in your belly,
straight.
your feet are
you
holding
turn,
their head and chest down, and you're
Pull
arching back on
very
your
in.
back, and your
Then you
fingers
come
in
to
their
the
arm until they pad out. If they pad out, they
And
lose,
then you-
right?
come out.
In the street, as a cop,
So
if you
You're
did that
here.
technique, anybody in the world could come up and drop punch your head. In fact, I have a video
then
saved
you're
on
here.
YouTube of that
Like
happening. A
pop.
cop
So.
is doing that technique, and the girlfriend that the guy is doing it on walks up,
So,
and
and it's.
no, obviously no
This
training,
hand's
no
down
skill.
here, it's just
She
like a
just
double,
punts
but
it like
you're
a
this way.
football, hits him
So
perfectly
you're
in the
this
neck,
way,
the cop
and
went
you're here.
unconscious. And of course,
You're
he
gonna
lets
cover.
go, he's unconscious, the guy gets up, and the guy starts
Turn.
stomping and kicking him. And then
This shoots
him
out,
and his girlfriend leave.
this straight.
So, we
And
call
both
it,
hands
instead of
gonna
Brazilian
turn.
Jiu-Jitsu, the group of people
That
that
one
I've been
goes
training
underneath
with,
that
and
one,
playing with
that
for
pokes.
years, call it blue
Up.
Jiu-Jitsu. Cause it's
Yeah.
Brazilian,
Comes in
but
the
we
middle.
only do the stuff that we could do
Then you go out
on the
to the other
street.
side, yeah.
and only do the
So,
stuff that will work if you're
elbow,
wearing combat boots. Cause there's a lot of
Straight
techniques on the
line.
ground where,
Because
your foot has to stretch out to wrap
So when
around
you're
somebody's
like
legs.
this,
You can't do that
then
with
you go like
combat
that in the pocket.
boots. Your
So I'm
feet,
doing
your
this.
foot does not allow it to happen. So
So
I'd
that's
say
the first, and
probably
you do that
about
motion all throughout the
30% of
body,
their
that
art
motion.
is all sport
So
stuff
you're here in this
that does not
position.
translate to well.
So I'm gonna do the
where
opposite.
You
So
can't
you're
roll
doing
certain
right. So
directions,
you're
you
gonna
got a
go here.
holster on your hip.
Right.
So this is like
boots,
shoulder
et
high,
cetera, et cetera.
it's covered down here,
Yeah,
right?
and there's lots of things
Yeah,
you
so
just
it's
can't do
belt
because
side.
you've got
Then the hands turn at the same
AR-15 and
time.
Glock magazine and a radio and
Then these turn
that
at
kind
the
of
same
stuff,
time.
so. And of course, you know, I've injected Oyata's principles into everything that I started learning back in '96 when
Cross-Kata,
KCPD started their
You come
ground program.
so this elbow's out.
But,
Don't have your
Back
elbow go.
to
You see that hanging
whoever's
up?
question,
Oh, yeah.
Relax,
like 2 weeks ago,
relax.
we were teaching a cop BJJ course
See
for
how
a
I have
solid
my
week,
thumb on the end of that?
at the BJJ school, 39th
So
and
you
Main.
control it, you squeeze it. That's
one of-
why these are
one of
not
our cops
sanctioned
owns
Oyata.
the building. Right, he owns the club,
39th of May?
Yeah.
Okay.
38 Main.
I got these from Celine.
So
And here-
flat,
He
Flat,
owns
right?
that building,
round.
and he's co-partners with the guy that is the
Can't
lead
control-
teacher there.
How can your big thumb control that little pin?
Granite Ford is just a little bit further north.
You
right.
can't,
So-
because guess what? It's
Or am I
gonna flip.
thinking the,
Granite
So
Point,
slip.
there's two
Try to use
buildings north of
But
39th.
I got this.
yeah.
I go
That's Granite Ford.
Facing,
Squeeze,
College was just a little bit further south.
it's right,
He actually owns the place that was Granite Ford.
right? Tiger
He
goes,
owns that.
squeeze,
Oh.
It's a different bar now.
relax,
It's a bar now?
relax,
Or, I
squeeze.
think it's the name.
Right, teaching
And
that
here,
in everything.
getting sidetracked on
Doing the same thing. here.
discussion,
Your
but-
hand is open.
every time we teach a cop seminar there,
So,
they're doing BJJ in
when
the
I'm
morning,
here
and I
at-
would always go early. And so
Going right,
this,
I'm twisting.
the lead instructor for that,
Yeah,
because he's
I'm
worked with me
using
quite
my
a bit,
wrist.
back and forth on things,
And I'm
started
punching
asking
this
me
way.
about what would you do for,
Not
you know,
down.
Well, yeah.
when they're playing the slap hand deal,
Mhm.
going into that.
So
And
this
so
is
I taught
going
a
here,
little,
And
brief
this is
little
going
Tuite seminar. And then he integrated it into his class that
makes
night.
sense?
And then
So
the next day he
you're
comes back and starts asking me other questions.
But you have
And
this
so,
in your hand.
Steve came here Monday and we filmed for like an hour a bunch of
Use your wrist a lot. So
BJJ
people understand that, oh, that's, you know, that's kind of
related
stationary in your hand.
Tuite
Well, it
stuff.
kind of is a little bit.
Because it's very,
but you
it's very
are
common.
Manipulating, see, sometimes.
The first
I
thing the
turn it,
BJJ person wants to do,
Or. hit
they
it
don't
back.
understand
Back
wrist locks the way you guys do. So
So he
typically,
emphasizes
if you
that.
grab me in
Oh,
a wrist lock, their response is, they
Well,
immediately,
now I got this.
they go down here
Oh.
to pull a guard. This is called pulling guard. My
So
legs
it
are
says
guarding
this
from this
emphasizes
position, so you're trying to do
Your
Tuite, and now they're in this position.
actual kata hand
So,
motion.
I taught them a
So
bunch
this
of
is,
stuff, and then I filmed
you
a
know,
bunch of stuff to give to
Takes
them.
this,
If they're
and
gonna go
then
down
10
anyways.
times it with
Right.
this. He said,
So,
people
well, I mean,
need to
That's-
really
it's
know
arrowhead,
cheesy,
elbow
because
control.
guess what, you can
So,
walk around
like,
this.
Just
You
like
can
your
walk around with it.
Right.
And
Now,
you're not walking
that's the big
around
thing with
with
Tuite
this.
down here, is there's no escape.
You walk around with
So
this.
if you're here
When
and
Lee
you
and
start
I
to put legs,
Flew,
I
in
just need a
Asia in
pass
2015.
and then control
we
your
took a- we took a
elbow.
month trip, we went to
Once
the
I'm
town,
here,
met with Tiger's
I can,
family.
I can get tap outs on these
And then we met up with
people
friends
from
in
that
Indonesia
position.
and did a week of diving there.
And to them,
And we
it's
had
just
to
like,
drive through. the
yeah,
landscape.
because they don't,
We had to go
they
to
don't focus on wrist
Shanghai
locks
to get
until
to,
they've been training for like a year and a half, 2 years.
Indonesia and all the way back.
And even then, they don't have anywhere near the understanding you guys have, even just from your first month of being in our class. And so, just be passing their leg,
And nobody said.
I would tap them out while still standing, and that's just like,
It went through all their scanners, everywhere around the world, and nobody.
That's not
said.
supposed to happen.
That's exactly-
And
exactly.
I said, well,
They all think-
Chance that you're.
so initially,
Technically learning.
I taught them a wrist lock for the top to get to the ground. I left, come back the next day, and they're like, hey,
Yeah.
Yeah,
everybody was just doing
Yeah.
this, and they're scooting down their butt, and then we couldn't
Oh,
do
really?
anything. And it's because they don't understand the principle of X is really what the
I had
problem
to
is.
go.
So they're kind of leaning over them, their legs are here, and they don't know, they don't understand that angle. So I then
But,
taught them pass.
Yeah, that was.
And
great
then,
trip.
I
It
used,
was such great.
I used one of their
Yeah.
green belts as my
When we
lead.
went diving. But I haven't.
Phenomenal
diving
BJJ
for the last
person,
almost 7 years now, but.
does
Got other
competitions
things
all over the
Unfortunately,
place.
medically.
Very highly skilled BJJ person, female. But
Yeah, but.
I'm extremely talented in that game,
Yeah.
but I just asked her,
Sometimes.
and
Is it
I didn't
years or-
hardly get anything on her, and she's going with a free hand, and she's afraid to touch me. She's afraid to get anywhere near me now, because she's just never felt
broken
that.
her entire equation, right?
Exactly, you know, she's at the top of her game before black belt. She probably won't be long before she's a black belt. But she's at the high competition level now. She's constantly bringing home trophies and medals. And I just walked up and she's screaming, right? And it's just like
Right,
major
right.
eye
It's around that
opener.
even,
I'm constantly, they do some of the most convoluted stuff that I'm just like, man, you got this perfect spot.
Right.
So like, Steve's been doing BJJ for I think 2 years now or
I've
so.
always enjoyed it,
And
but you know, I don't. need
we've had
that.
several days where
I-
he's just come
because
over and
I've
we've worked
gone,
on
you know,
BJJ
together.
stuff,
It was an
where I'm
innovation
teaching him,
stuff.
because he's finally to the level where they're allowing
But,
him to do wrist locks.
I mean, for me, it's,
You're like,
getting
oh,
he's-
we've been at it for a while.
50,
He's
70
tapping
degree
people constantly in
water, and
class
you can see all kinds of
because
shit in
he
that.
understands them, and
Yeah.
they don't get
The
it.
water.
They're constantly doing things
Yeah.
to where
and
they
so,
end up-
I'm like,
They're so used
No, I'm
to
good.
coming in
So,
and grabbing, and you've got,
we did some cool
yeah,
dives
you know,
in Okinawa,
like,
we were gonna do
they're-
some front
they're not
dive,
used
but
to
there was a
being
tsunami that came through, so
Tuite
I
being done,
managed
so
that.
they build up probably 2
Yeah.
years of bad habits of coming in
There you
and
go.
doing shit like that.
Yeah.
And Steve is just
Good
dropping
pictures,
them right and
really
left, and they
But,
don't get it, and even
yeah.
if you looked at, if you go to our
You wanna
Facebook
do this one more time?
or our
You
YouTube
can-
group
You can work on it.
and type in ground, I've got a whole
So
series of
starting this
videos
position in the kata.
of basically all the basic BJJ pins and how to reverse them with tweeting.
This goes
And,
right under the drum.
Yeah, these people just lose their minds. There's all these things that are so, in my opinion, just convoluted, like,
And actually,
so
did Taikatsu
two of the main
where you would turn this arm
positions you might
underneath
be
here,
in
Yeah.
at BJJ
you would have it
is
here, and you turn it.
in mount or
okay?
in guard.
That's why
So
it's gotta be underneath here.
mount is the bad guys laying here face up and your knees are over them
Yeah, you're like this.
that way. So my knees, I'm straddling
You know,
them
and then
and I'm getting
whatever, like he would be.
their
passing
face turned,
Yeah.
grabbing
So,
a arm
This
and
gives
elbow
you
and trying to do a
straight
shoulder
forward,
lock from that
get in that
position.
position,
That's
um,
very
so
common and they spend a lot of
get your
energy.
cover motion.
Well, anytime you're in that
out,
position,
Then you
if
swing,
you just start putting your hands on their
rotate,
face,
this is straight,
they do this.
and then these
And you
turn at
just
the same
high-five,
time.
And you can
You
you
go
can
back
pin 'em
underneath your arm.
right
this
there,
way,
or you can
you
roll
set
them
with
over. I always
poles,
roll them over because
And then you go.
we want
to
them face
middle,
down so we can handcuff them, right?
Then you go out,
But it's not something
Right.
they've ever done.
then you go back to the other side.
So then their next
cover.
response is they'll keep their hand closed and then
You're
you go
here.
here and break it over. Now you got a flexion lock. And they never see
They
it.
really
They never
don't like
felt
that one.
Yeah.
Here,
The other deal is called,
so this is
so that
how
was
the
mount
model looks when
guard.
you first do it,
Um,
just watch.
There's open and closed guard from ground, so the person's laying face up. You're basically between their legs, either they're open guard, your ankles aren't wrapped, or you hook your ankle around it.
Yeah.
And same thing, I can
So
either
when you,
tap
when
them
I
out
go here and I'm
from them being
covering,
in my
look, I'm
guard,
turning
or
at the
if I'm
same
in
time,
their
right? I'm
guard.
turning at the same time.
Again, they're
I'm coming
trying to
here
do
and
things with
then I'm
their hands,
screwing this up
and they
I'm going
constantly,
Face,
they
face.
constantly are pushing, and so it's just like, it's so easy to
Where I've got a lot of
catch.
motions that go up.
You get into a wrist lock.
Like a
So
pawing
you go-
motion you were doing earlier.
So check
Like
it.
pawing.
Yeah, they're
So
trying
all
to
your
get,
energy
they're trying to get
goes
into a
forward,
position where they can do
and I'm-
what's
that's
called a
defense.
Kimura.
Defense, defense,
uh,
defense.
That's called a Kimura, all right, it's or a key lock,
But with that.
depending on what style you're in, where you're going over rapid.
So much don't like that.
All right.
But they're doing this all from the ground because they want to get you to tap out from either a shoulder lock or an elbow lock, an arm lock.
No, he,
That's the only two things they really
when
work
I-
to get. Right, and then,
Start
you know, other
training.
things like, there's something called side controls, where they're laying
And they're
face
made
up
out of
and you're
poison
kind of
wood.
face down side on the side of them.
And actually, Vince cut these for him.
You got both knees up against them so they can't roll. Your arm goes underneath their head and you come in, your other, both hands go kind of under their arm, their shoulder blade. And it's kind of a stability deal where you're trying to catch your breath, you can hold somebody in that position. Well, when we do the blue jujitsu version of that, this hand comes undone. And instead of being fed through here, I come through here and I can whack them out, but it's against the rules.
As you use the weapon, because that's what happens to
But
the poison one.
The cop version of it,
Becomes harder. And
we've got
I've never-
rules of engagement as a cop, right? I can't just shoot them.
Yeah, escalation.
Yeah,
And so
yeah, I
got
can't
those-
shoot the
those
unarmed
Yankees
person
Yankees
unless he's
shoestrings,
going from, trying to take my
And I
gun from
put
me or
this
something.
in here,
But
they've been in there.
I don't
for
have a
long time now.
referee, I can
And
whack
it
him
just helps
out.
me to be able to spend.
very
the weapon
easily
without
from that
losing it. I always
position.
hated that
And
string.
like, if you imagine their
That
head
string
here,
is
I'm
just
grabbing
not
their
very conducive.
neck,
So, you know,
I'm grabbing that spot on their neck, and then
modernization in there, and I showed
I'm
Ty, and he
pushing
said, "Oh, that's
their
good.
head across,
It's good.
I'm pushing their chin to my head
He approved, so,
there, and it's pretty
Yeah.
easy to block somebody.
so this is,
Well, yeah,
you know,
off here and here.
you want something with an ability to.
So there's all these different little
Grip.
positions,
And
and
maintain.
they're not
control.
used to doing, I think it's just,
Those don't work.
again,
They're
it's a
smooth.
sport, it's not, it's not self-defense. Again, all these people on Reddit right now are just, it's like the biggest deal is the difference between sport and self-defense, but the reality of it is, yeah, most of these
Sports
things.
that rules, self-defense doesn't.
Exactly. I mean, you may have an ethical set of
I don't know.
rules,
Yeah.
or you may have to work under a certain set of things because you're a cop or something, you got some rules.
Right.
But two people street fighting don't really have a lot of rules. What are you looking for?
You was
Some time
asking me
ago,
about some
some
cheesies that you
cheeses that you
made.
had that the holes were not perfectly centered, they were kind of. off.
Yeah, they shouldn't be. They should always be a half finger off. I don't know if those are ones that, these are not correct, but they should be not perfectly centered. They should be
That's
set
what he just talked about.
to where
Scoot your leg behind.
the pinky end is a little bit longer than the other.
See,
And
with
so-
my hands, it doesn't matter. So the bigger the hands, it
Just break my
probably.
hand.
So
Break my
by
hand.
switching to the elastic ones,
Yeah.
you can correct it,
Yeah,
right? But most of the ones, like all the ones that I make are always essentially, if this is center, then I move it a half a finger and then drill the holes.
Yeah, I just checked mine and then you have it off.
Yeah, it's just off a little bit. It should be off a little bit. And remember, the old ones were typically leather and not elastic.
yeah,
So there wasn't the movement. You couldn't do this, right?
yeah.
The reason the pinky side should be just a little bit longer, and technically 6 inches that both of us have, they're a little bit long. They should be more, probably 5.5 inches for us, 5.25. But the reason that side should be long is because of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I never noticed mine were not centered.
Yeah, it should be
On the short end.
whatever,
should
a
be
quarter an inch. The short end is forward
here.
because you're typically doing,
Punching with it.
yeah, so.
Catches with that.
Yeah.
is that?
Yeah, but you strike with that
Elastic
side too.
to
You don't-
push down on that.
So you don't need, yeah, if they're elastic, it doesn't really matter.
No.
So that's the way to fix if you're cheesy, are leather and they're perfectly centered.
Ain't shoestring.
I just go to CVS or Walgreens and buy one of those packages that has like 50 hair ties and just cut them, burn the ends and stick them in there.
Yeah, yeah.
I think there's only like one pair left that are leather, and that's because they were Daryl Stubenraw's, and I've just never an old black belt of
Yeah, but you know, he's got those little bitty things in his hand with the little bitty end, and that's like, you can't do nothing with that.
And see, the problem with those is particularly, it wouldn't be so bad on the pinky side, But on the thumb side,
Can't
Yeah.
Pushing it in.
if you're really trying to impact somebody this way and curl, that's gonna hurt your thumb more than it's
Your
gonna.
thumb's gonna come off. You're not gonna be
Oh,
able
yeah,
to
it's
control
true.
it. Thumb's
Particularly if they're
gonna come
rounded.
Right, and smooth like that.
Yeah.
You want a jagged edge, like he's made there. You want it an octagon shape, because it's easier to grip control when you're turning and you're striking and you know, you're,
And you're maximizing the amount of corner you can have.
right, yeah, you know. Type always has this, in the corner, you strike down, so you're literally just coming down on the person's leg or you strike the side leg. You talk about not being able to walk after that.
So even like, these
Putting your
were,
body weight into a tiny little.
that was the first pair I ever bought, they were bought from Ted. But they had leather in them, right, so they're centered, and even being centered, Ted had those, but of course Ted had big giant fat fingers.
Yeah.
Like you ever do Ted Winningham. But these are a little bit just too far apart, I mean, I could easily get 2 fingers in there, that's not
Yeah,
even
yeah.
tight because of that.
Right.
But they were more squared off. Right? More squared off. To where they didn't have those little bitty hands.
Yeah. Like I said, this is the only thing you use. This is it. This is proper.
The facets, the edges.
Where do you get that wood that's got those,
This is Okinawan wood. Tika gave it to me.
Are you talking about just octagon in general?
yeah, if you just wanted to buy it and make your own or something?
So, well,
There's a guy on the, isn't there a guy on the, what?
somebody asked me the other day, and I cannot find anybody making octagons, and, oh, it was Bob lost one of his 2 cheesy.
Didn't you make these octagon ones?
No, this was
That
Alan,
guy on these.
Alan in Wichita.
Oh, was it Alan Wichita?
Yeah, I sent Alan the wood and he made these.
No, I see.
He made both my combos that I have. Alan did, yeah, he made those.
And he's
They're
kind of
really
hit and
nice.
miss on whether he still
Yeah.
makes weapons or not.
There was a guy on the East Coast that was making a whole bunch of
Adam
these.
Cade was making.
After I-
Oh,
Oh, he did? After
Yeah.
I talked to him, and
Now-
he's like, oh, yeah.
Arthur Hearns is making some weapons now, I guess, or he's been selling weapons.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if he makes them octagon or if he just makes them
The cheapy way.
the easy way.
Uh-huh.
Now, I have, I can make them, but I don't have, like, all my woodworking stuff's packed up.
Yeah.
I actually made a jig for drilling the holes in
Yeah,
the right
these are a little
place
bit
and
bigger than
everything.
mine. See, my octagon's just a slight smaller than,
Nanny.
but I'm sure Tika, cause Vince cut this for him. He gave the wood to Vince and Vince cut these out for Tika. And, he probably wanted it a little bit smaller because of my hands.
So I've made some other octagon things in the past, but again, everything's packed up. There's probably 1 or 2 pair of octagons that I've actually made in there. It's a pretty big process. Yeah, you just get a square dowel, you cut a square dowel to the side, the width you want, the thickness you want. And then you set up your table saw at a 45 with the, I can't think of the name, but.
The thing, you know, the dowel.
No.
No, the guard,
What's it okay?
the guide,
The guide.
the guide or the guard, so that as you slide these down it chops off a
That-
45-degree
yeah,
angle,
yeah.
and then you
Do 3
you
more
move it and
times.
chop off, so you
Yeah.
gotta chop off 4 angles, and then you have it, and then you sand it. And it's actually quicker to make these than it is the round ones, because I
Well,
made
that's true.
tons of those back in the day.
Yeah,
And I gave away most of them. The round ones, I mean. Just curve it, kind of bevel it a little bit. It doesn't take long to do them, but it's more,
Why do you have to bevel the round ones and not these? Cause I know it's the caper, these don't.
so I don't know why that, so here's the history of cheesy from bowl in Chiza, coon is stick. Or wood. Those are the Okinawan names. In Chiza is small, coon is stick or
Small stick.
like Sakagawa no kun.
Mhm.
All right, kun is state.
Mhm.
Right. At any rate, these were the stories that we got these were fishermen implements. Right, for pulling in the nets.
Yeah.
This was how they pulled in the nets, so they could pull them in real quick.
It wasn't the
and they're-
buoys on the net. It wasn't
And
the
no,
buoys.
somebody told me that once, and I was like, no. Wood doesn't really float enough to support a net, yeah.
But
That was
that's-
somebody that heard part of the net thing and then
Right,
they did
right.
their own.
But if
story.
Doc does,
It's a fair comment. But that's what it was, your fingers couldn't get caught in the net and you pulled out the boat, because you just opened your hands and the net, the net caught on something, you were fine. So originally, they were probably just driftwood sticks, whatever, they probably weren't like this. Tuite at some point, just like other weapons of his, decided these 8 facets made everything way more painful, right? And also, the other thing, like, hold your hand up Tuite wise, right? So if you've got a curve, you're contacting more skin. If you set that bevel,
And then,
you're not
yeah.
gonna get a delivered bridge, right?
Right,
It's gonna be easier to do Tuite with a bevel than around.
right.
So I don't remember when
Catch-
that change
catch,
came, you probably remember. But originally, we were all most people were just going to the hardware store and buying a 1/2-inch dowel rod.
And then just,
And cutting them and drilling a couple holes in them.
Right, right.
That's what most people did.
good for training.
And then, you might, back in the day, spend $30 on a nice pair of cheap, Purple Heart ones like I did, because I love Purple Heart. Right? And had no woodworking abilities back then. But that's what everybody did. It's just either they got dowel rods or somebody made them. And I think the tapers came more people back in the early days. This was a striking weapon, not a Tuite weapon.
Mhm.
Just like with the,
But this is still a striking weapon, but you could
You
do
can do
more
Tuite.
tweaking with this.
Yes, and so at some point when Tuite started showing more Tuite, more capture techniques, it switched to this. The other thing, I mean, like coming in and doing these strikes, the bevel hurts more than that, in my opinion. But people started taking it to extremes. Those those are really, really thin. If I was making them for kids, I would make them more.
That's small.
I would make them
Do you think
small
they may
like
have
that.
taken that from the bow staff or like tapers sort of?
I don't really know how it evolved into that, but you kept seeing them over the years. When I first started, this was the norm. There was just a little bit of taper, not much at all. Right, and this side is more tapered than that side. That's the pinky side was more tapered. But over time, I started seeing more and more people get really, really pointed ones. And if you talk to them for more than 2 minutes, you realize all they were thinking about
Yeah.
was impact. And if you think it impact, a large object versus a tiny object, more kinetic energy is going into it on impact.
so a lot of people think that about the new shotgun also, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is definitely a striking weapon,
Oh.
but it's definitely with
You
this
do
motion,
more.
this is Tuite right here. Tuite, you can put it there.
And just like open-handed strikes lead to captures, captures lead to strikes.
We'll see you guys next couple of weeks.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Bring
You're ready to go
your
on
other sweater.
Freaking baby shirt over there today.
That sounds boring.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry to be so blunt.
I know, you guys get spared.
You made me think, oh, I think-
Yeah, right.
With your big ass hands,
I know, he pulled
This
those
is
out, I was just kinda laughing.
more like what you need.
Yeah,
You know, big those are. Yeah, that's more for somebody like you.
And I can see how they're upset.
Yeah, yeah. So like